welcome to the final to the Turnbuckle of the Year episode titled Cena-Claus is coming to town. So, with that, let me introduce the two fine folks that are here with me. And I'm talking, of course, about two sexy gentlemen that I can't possibly even put into words how fine they are. Are you down with Triple T with a B? Yeah, you know me. Mr. Jason McCarthy and Travis Gnarly Napper. Napper, you're looking quite comfortable today. Quite comfortable. How are you?
I'm feeling sexy.
You looking good. Looking damn good. So, this is our last episode of the year. Last one. Everything okay over there?
Yeah.
All right. Just looking all...
Phone's just being weird.
Okay.
Trying to keep an eye on the stream.
Last one of the year. A lot to talk about. If you're wondering, well, when will you be back? Well, January 24th is the plan.
Wouldn't you like to know?
January 24th is the plan. And that'll get a bigger reaction than Bronson Reed did last night, because that would only take about 5 people to care. Because I'll tell you what, 5 people didn't care about him last night. Good Lord, that was one awful return in terms of getting a pop. That was pretty miserable. Anywho, I'll talk more about Bronson Reed's popcorn fart of return later on in this show. Mr. McCarthy, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
We're ready to talk some of this.
Last one of the year.
I know, it's weird.
Then we get a month, which is good, because I thought you two might come to blows here.
Nah, it's
Fine.
fine.
I was like, well, let's put some tussle behind the muscle here. We're going to wrestle this pretzel. So.
That'd be an unmissable to the turnbuckle.
So.
Uh-oh, he's putting the gloves on.
Let's do this.
Cody, thank you for watching. Axel Fury's tuned in.
Yes!
Yes.
Hi, Axel Fury. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right.
One of the status symbols. Long
I don't know who you're talking about. That's some random.
I am going to go ahead and apologize to Mr. Axel Fury for our markiness just now.
Long live the status symbols. Long live the status symbols.
We do appreciate you watching, though, buddy.
We do. Barbara, thank you for watching. We do appreciate you. Thank you.
Why can't I see everybody?
Because you're on the To the Turnbuckle page. I'm on the Snapmare.
That's why.
That's how that works out. Thank you. All right, let's get right into it. So it's been a busy week as far as the news goes. Again, the episode title, Cena-Claus is coming to town, because he is, in fact, coming to town. I love that he was like, so I haven't done a match in 2022, and he was like, we are running out of chances. So let's get right into it, though. The big news of the week wasn't really John Cena, believe it or not. It was pretty big, but big news of the week was pretty much right after we went off the air, Mandy Rose's world started crashing down. Because that night she lost the NXT Women's title to Roxanne Perez, white meat babyface in NXT. And then we thought, well, that's a little odd. Okay, but maybe we're just gonna put the ball on somebody else. And then we wake up to the next morning or afternoon or whatever it may be. I sleep pretty late. Joe Hirschberger, love you, brother. Glad you're watching. By the way, in the comments, give us your moment of the year, your biggest surprise for either company, WWE, AEW, or anything else you want to talk about. Talk about your wrestler of the year. We'll get to every comment we can. Let us know.
That was forceful. Are you sure you're okay?
That was kind of forceful.
Like slammed your phone down, had a little heavy breathe. Are you sure?
All right. He needs some Riddle stuff. Well, maybe not.
Maybe not Riddle stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that will wake him up.
Maybe not what he's doing lately. Mandy Rose released by the WWE the next day. Turns out it was over an OnlyFans type page. She's not on OnlyFans. Again, I'm not subscribed, but I was doing research for the sake of this.
Yes, for the sake of the show.
I'm truly not subscribed. Honest to God, not that I don't think that's not money well spent. God bless you if you're into that sort of thing. Turns out the content got a little too risque for WWE's liking. They knew about this page existing. Matt Bloom, a.k.a. A-Train, Albert Orr, Lord Tensai, if you're into that sort of thing, wants a Funkadactyl So I just covered all his eras for everybody. If you don't know who Matt Bloom is at this point, apparently he stooged off that some of the content got too racy. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The video is circulating that everybody seems to be up in arms about was her in a pool and she was topless, and it's obvious she probably thought the water was going to hide. Let's be an adult here, hide her nipples, and it didn't. And I think that's the content that everybody got up in arms about. So I'm going to kick it to these two gentlemen, starting with the sleepy one. And I want your thoughts on WWE releasing Mandy Rose. I'll give mine, of course, after you two gentlemen are done. But give me your thoughts, starting with you, Mr. Napper.
This has got to be the dumbest firing they've done in probably the last 5 years, maybe? And that includes all of the budget cuts. All of them. Like, at least with the budget cuts, most of the people that they released during that, people they weren't having on TV. Okay, whatever. And you could pass off budget cuts, I guess, as a legitimate reason to let somebody go. But this is just flat out dumbass stupid. Have we not looked at the history of the WWE when it comes to their content and the risqueness of said content? Good God. Have we not seen the, let's see, bra and panties matches, pillow fight matches, I'm pretty sure at one point, the Christmas-oriented costume party battle royals, the bikini battle royals. God, I could go on and on. This was stupid. Flat out stupid. And the other thing that really is irritating is they knew about this page for a flippin' year and did nothing about it. Didn't, reportedly at least, said nothing to her about it. The content was, I guess, not as bad, or at least to their knowledge, not as bad as this video circulating. But the biggest issue is Mandy Rose as a character on WWE television is a sex object. Like, I'm sorry, like I don't mean to put it that bluntly, but it's flippin' true. They parade her out there exactly like that. But yet, when she tries to do it on the side, that's when it becomes a problem. And I know there's been a lot of comparisons to a lot of things that have happened over the course of WWE history. A lot of people were trying to compare it to the Paige and Xavier Woods thing. I've seen a lot of people say that that's not necessarily a very comparable situation, which I have to agree with, because one was leaked and the other was really not, because one was a paid subscription, one was not. One was just a leaked video that got sent out, which is the Paige and the Xavier Woods. This is a more paid subscription. Somebody probably paid for the video and then leaked it out, which I guess they're more entitled to do than, say, the Paige and Xavier Woods situation.
Not legally.
No one is entitled to release her information, no matter how much they paid for it. Yeah, that's hers. Legally, that's hers. They had to pay to get it. It's all. That'd be like, oh, I own every AEW pay-per-view I ever bought. No, that's not the case. I bought a license to watch it. They bought a license.
Still the same situation though?
They bought a license to view it, not a license to go share it out. If I went and threw AEW pay-per-views on Bruiser Nation's YouTube page, we'd be hosed. They'd shut us down. Yeah. So, I mean, and you have to take that in consideration with these things. And then you also have to take in consideration, yes, nowadays it is a PG product. Nowadays, bra and panties matches are gone. But I'm going to just make a little list here.
Do your list. He sounded a little far from his mic. Turn him up a hair, would you? He sounded a little far when I was listening.
Oh, I heard you.
Just here to help. Just here to help. Go ahead.
No, I heard you. It's okay. No, I heard you. Right. I could hear him fine. So
okay.
That's because I'm over here.
I'm monitoring. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I got you.
I
got you. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh
my God. Anyway.
Calm down, both of you.
sable with black painted on handprints. Miss Jackie, in the very same segment, flashed the entire crowd.
I love King just going nuts.
Miss Kitty flashed the entire crowd and lost her job later on for other things. Not for that. Now, granted, 90s, 2000s, different time, but still, that this is just a pattern of behavior. Tori Wilson, Sable,
Kelly,
China, the redhead,
Maria,
Christy Hemme.
Oh yeah, that one too. For God's sake, they employed Playboy models.
They were in Playboy.
Yeah.
Plastered all over WWF at the time television. A historically child-driven company. Throwing that they're in Playboy all over the place. Throwing it up on the Titantron with ribbons covering the private areas. I mean, they were all in then.
Oh yeah.
But because Mandy Rose can make some money of her own that you can't touch on the side, you have a problem. And the last name I will drop, of all people to make this decision, the only professional wrestler to ever appear in Playgirl, Shawn Michaels, is the one that officially made this decision. Bro, fuck you, okay? You. I never liked you to begin with. Now you're just a holier-than-thou piece of shit.
I got one better for you. What's the one picture that Shawn Michaels is very well known for that involves world championships?
The naked one?
Yeah.
With the world title.
Guess what they did with Mandy Rose? The same damn photo. Guess what they circulated through their social media? That exact photo. Oh no, we slid the championships down a fraction of an inch and now it's a fucking problem.
Yep. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit.
So dumb. And I feel bad for Roxanne Perez. I really do. Because she is going to get so much crap for this. Sure. Unwarranted to hell. And it sucks because I think that if they had made this decision in, January 10th? Is that when the match was supposed to take place? Yeah. If they made that decision January 10th, it's a great decision. I think she carries the belt fine. And we move on from there. I don't know what their plan would be after that. I don't know what it is now. I would assume probably giving it to Cora Jade at some point. But if they made that decision on January 10th without this rushing situation, I have no problem with it. But because they did this, and the night after they fire her, that to me is the most shitty thing you can do as a company. And especially the way she went out. The thank you chants. Like, everything. She went out as high as you could go. And then you fire her.
Yeah. And literally, kind of on her own. Yeah, she had the WWE machine kind of behind her, but Mandy Rose wasn't as good as she was when she got fired when she started. Mandy Rose put in the damn work to get a slap on the wrist in this situation if it was that big of a deal. Like, why did you have to release her? Dude, they didn't even release Rob Van Dam when he was World Heavyweight Champion and the Ohio State Patrol pulled him over and found weed in his car with Sabu. Did he get stripped? Yeah, he got stripped, but he didn't lose his job. And honestly, that's worse. You broke the law. You made us look bad. The Usos have gotten so many DUIs. Was it 4? The longest reigning tag team champions of all time now. But you fire Mandy Rose.
I love Matt Riddle, but Matt Riddle probably should be fired.
Probably.
Well, is this a case of... Would this be different if okay, all right, you ain't going to throw shit. That's all I said here, but damn. But is this a case, and let me ask, I'll start with you, McCarthy, is this a case where it might be handled differently if Vince McMahon was still in charge? Because all of these things that we're talking about, even in recent history, that people weren't fired for things that you'd think they would be. That was a Vince McMahon. The Page leak, Vince McMahon. The Charlotte leak, Vince McMahon. And I'm talking about that's PG times because I know that kind of like in a biblical sense, Old Testament, New Testament. Fine, let's talk about the PG era. Then there's been the DUIs, Vince McMahon, Jeff Hardy situation, Vince McMahon. Is this a case of where WWE is trying to clean up the cult? Do you think Vince McMahon would have made a different decision?
Yeah.
I think he would.
100%.
I think he would have said, "All right, suspend her then, damn it."
Yeah.
He wouldn't have dared.
Fired her.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's money. She's a draw. And she did it on her own. They got behind her when the crowd did. She put in the work to get to where she was. Like I said, she deserves the benefit of the doubt to take a suspension or stripping her of the title or whatever, but not releasing her completely. Like, get serious.
And it's just a dumb move on their part because, as you pointed out, like, she was one of the most popular women on NXT.
We want to know what you think of the comments about Mandy Rose getting released. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
She was one of the, outside of the 4 horsewomen, she's one of the most popular women on the entire roster. Not even NXT.
So, Napper, I want to come to you. Do you think Vince McMahon would have made a different call? Do you think him not being around plays a little bit of difference? I think he would have. And
I do.
I could be wrong. I haven't. But again, this is the first kind of controversy under the Triple H Stephanie regime, and I feel like he would have.
Hit Khan.
Yeah, absolutely, he plays a strong factor.
The evil man Khan.
Well, at the end of the day, I think probably Triple H and Stephanie and Khan all deserve equal blame because they're all steering the thing as an equal kind of. Because Triple H made clear that no one is directly replacing Vince. They're all three kind of doing it because he just did so much shit. So they all three kind of deserve some blame. I was hoping that things like this would change under the new regime because this is the one of the few things I thought really needed to under Vince. And it feels like we're getting worse. Because I don't think Vince would have said, well, fire her, damn it. He could have said, look at her, pal. So, yeah, Khan plays a part. But truthfully, let's be honest. Let me give my thoughts here. The WWE doesn't care that she had her nipples out in the pool. They care that they can't make money off of it. That's it. That's it entirely. Because the reality is this. They wouldn't lose one advertiser. Nope. Nobody cares. We all live in this weird bubble. Like, we all get too caught up on social media. Most people just don't care about most controversies. Yes, there might be 20, 30, even 40% sometimes that do care. But most people don't. It's a direct, loud minority. You want to know why? Because people have lives.
You want to know how I know people don't care? Go to Instagram. Just go to Instagram. That's it.
Well, and we were talking
Everything
about
on there is like almost a slight fraction, maybe not as bad. It's pretty damn close.
Look, TikTok's the same, Twitter's the same, and
here's one for you, Natalia. I follow Natalia on Instagram.
Attaboy.
It's pretty bad.
Attaboy.
It's pretty bad.
I think it's lovely.
oh, it's great.
I was going to say, I don't think it's bad at all.
Well, and I
I
mean,
was
you
trying
can
to make
even
a
say, like, oh, well, she never would have got that kind of money if, she wouldn't have been a WWE wrestler. Like, her likeness, and it's their reason that she got all this. No? Have you exactly. Have you seen the internet?
Like,
you seen
I'm
what...
just trying to be honest.
You've seen what men are willing to pay to see. Like, get serious. She could have totally made this kind of money as the first time she got found out. Because you know what we do? Check out this hot girl. Check out this hot girl. Right. Share that shit out to all your buddies. And now all of a sudden it's everywhere, and she's still making that kind of money. Because it's not like she's the only one on these platforms that can pull $500,000 in a week.
No.
Shit happens.
But again, it's all about it. The hypocrisy is because we can't make money off of it. Either she turned them down, or they can't attempt to because of the model the way it is. So they don't care. They don't, and so it's really a pisser because Mandy Rose deserves better because when it came to her job, because I have news for everybody in this life, you agree to a job, which means you agree to work your best for them. When you get outside of that job, that doesn't mean you owe them anything else.
And you shouldn't have to.
Now, and again, if this was such a major issue, then it should have been discussed and talked about and some agreement come to.
And not in an ultimatum.
Here's the biggest pisser of it all. Let's keep in mind, and and I've defended this business model because from a business perspective, it is smart. But here's where, if Mandy Rose wanted to be a real, you know what, she could. She's an independent contractor. She's an independent contractor. Again, I've defended the business model because it is smart from a business standpoint. Now Stephanie's, I get it. It screws people, but I will respect the fact that it's smart. You can say both. Both can be true. Smart business, bad morality. Both can be true.
But I mean, on the other side of the coin, though, like, should they be employees? Probably.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, inside, if something happens to you,
If you can
more often than not, Vince is going to take care of you. And so, yeah, I think they should all have health insurance. Because what about their kids? So they got to find a third-party source independent. But aside from that,
care of Heath Slater's kids?
yeah, who's going to pay for those doctor bills? The 37 checkups a year, or however many you're supposed to go. Yeah,
he has stepped up and made the job. But here's the
because but I do think that gets lost in the translation of this conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody like hops on Vince McMahon because they're not employees, and Tony Khan got a you give people something to do, so they have 40 hours of work, and you can give them health benefits. But at the same time, you get hurt in the ring, Vince takes care of you. You have drug problems, it takes care of you until you do something
You
like
don't take
Jeff
care
Hardy.
of yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Look, I have defended the business practice of I get. I mean, I'm not upset at that overall. But the one place I think it truly crossed the line, because to some extent you know what you're signing up for. Like at this point, so I always go, I know what they're signing up for. But here's the pisser. Like, here's where it's like, this is really, you're talking about outside of anything close to company time. If you're going to say what I can and can't do outside of anything close to company time, all because, again, it's not like she was out there making full-fledged porn, by the way. This is as soft core as it comes. It would be different if, and I'm not cutting on her at all, but if she was regularly making page-type videos, that's a little far for a PG company. All right, I get it. I can respect that. But all kidding aside, this was to our knowledge, unless there's something else I haven't seen, and again, I'm not subscribed, so it's got to leak. To our knowledge, this was some nipple in a pool. I mean, really.
Oh, God.
To our knowledge, like I said, unless there's something else that, I'll respect the fact that, because again, truly, I'm not subscribed. I know, it's surprising given me. But, so, unless it's something that I'm not, but that's the big thing that's leaked and been talked about. Everybody just de-stress those breasts, as they say, which is a nice PG version for you can figure that out.
I got it.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Again, if it was if she was making some sort of hardcore thing, it is a PG company, I get it. But in the world of, because that's the one thing we don't show on, like, regular television and things like that, but in a world where we sexualize the hell out of women, as Napper, great point, Mandy Rose, her whole character has been hot. Even in Vince days. It was, remember, she was Otis's crush, right? Or she was soccer mom hot. And
they did that pool thing.
Yeah, and Corey Graves would call it God's greatest creation. Every bit of her character has been absolutely sexualized and just really, really sold as just sex sells. So yeah, I think you make a great point. And it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Nice job.
Nice job, Junior.
I would like to say something.
Sure.
Am I stupid for just figuring out that Willem Dafoe voiced the striped fish in Finding Nemo?
No, because you're young. It's okay.
No,
I just figured that out.
No, you're not.
I figured I'd say that.
Hey,
You haven't gotten to experience all the different roles of William Dafoe.
William Dafoe is one of the finest actors.
Will picked his, voice out of it, no problem. But I mean, I don't think you've really seen Nemo since then.
I never realized, and also not too long ago, I didn't even know that Jack Black voiced Poe from Kung Fu Panda.
Oh my God.
Now that's a little tougher.
That one you might not get a pass
I
for.
also haven't watched Kung Fu Panda in forever.
All right.
So.
All right.
Excuses.
We only have the first one.
Just so you know, Ellen plays the bluefish.
Dory.
Dory.
What?
You didn't know Ellen played
You
Dory?
what?
No.
No, that's it. That's where you've crossed the line.
Over here like Kevin Nash.
Okay, bye.
Over here like Kevin Nash in the video game. Don't pick me.
You got that-
He was like, don't pick me. Pick Sting. Pick Hogan. Look, I just don't personally understand how. I shouldn't say I don't understand. It's just baffling to me that I thought things like this might be one of the improvements under the new regime, and so it's not. Stephanie is just like her father, except she's worse. Because he doesn't tell you, he doesn't lie to you. We know that Vince McMahon is full of shit on most things.
I mean, that's fair.
Because look at his interviews before they went public. That's the real Vince McMahon. Stephanie is absolutely full of shit when she acts like she supports women, acts like she wants to give divas a chance, women a chance, the whole nine. She needs to seriously look in the mirror as far as, do you really care about advancing women in this company? Because that sure doesn't seem like it. Because Paige, not released. Xavier Woods wasn't released. Brad Maddox did get released, not for that. Stephanie is off to a bad foot on the first kind of controversy under her regime. Because, number one, I don't think Vince would have fired Mandy Rose. And at least if Mandy Rose would have got fired, that's probably not the top 10 most offensive things Vince does in a week, to be honest with you. He probably walks around and just does the Vince shit all day. So, yeah, just really disappointed in that, because she busted her ass to get better. And, again, people, it's a job. It's not 365, 24/7. It's a job. You can devote a lot to the WWE, and you understand what you're signing up for. But oh my God, she was making some money on the side for some premium content that people had to pay for. There's no child that has any, as long as they have any kind of responsible parent that's going to see this, and people say, well, it might leak. Paige has leaked. Charlotte's leaked. At least if you're going to fire Mandy Rose, then I want Paige and Charlotte gone too. Because at least I can say, I don't like it, but it's consistent. Because the thing about it is, it's like, well, I mean, you're a father, and obviously your hard discipline days are probably done, but
Now he just takes it out on
but I always
Only sometimes.
here's what I would hope to, if I'm ever lucky enough to be a father,
every 2 months.
if I'm ever lucky enough to be a father, here's what I hope my thing is. Whether they agree with my rule or not is not important to me. I want to be consistent. Whether I agree with this rule is different. I don't like it at all. But if Charlotte would have got fired or even suspended, and Paige would have got fired or even suspended, then maybe I'd kind of, all right, the precedent is there. This is a first. And maybe this is this is the first under a new regime, and this is how they're going to run it, which if so, it's great that you guys with your cock jokes are just going to run this real tight ship. I mean roosters, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. And
Nobody
like,
loves a
think
good
about
rooster
that.
joke
The guys
other than
that
me.
made this call, the men that made this call, just a few months ago, kicked off a PG version of Monday Night Raw with nothing but penis jokes.
Yeah, that's true.
And this isn't a year ago. This is like, what, 2 months when they had the DX 2015, whenever it was. It was nothing. The first 5 minutes was everyone that made this call, meaning Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, all the higher-ups now, because everybody doesn't matter who it is, everybody's got to get a bunch of yes men involved. Nobody can have any conflict and give a different view. The men that made this call, as far as, and although, let's be honest, some of it belongs to 72, your name is your CEO, it belongs on you. But the higher-up men not named Nick Khan that made this call kicked off a Monday Night Raw in this PG, very strong era, making nothing but penis jokes. And I had no issue with it. Thought it was great.
No, it's funny because it didn't overstay its welcome. But really, this is where you take your stance.
But so again, because again, to some extent, we do have to remember it is different times. And People can say, well, Paige and Charlotte was a year or two ago. Well, DX kicking off with nothing but penis jokes is not a year or two ago.
That's like 2 months.
Tops. Anywho, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk SmackDown because Cena-Claus is in fact coming to town for who knows how long, but he will be here for a short time. Don't move and move. This is the final To the Turnbuckle of the year. We're going to have a lot of fun, I promise you that.
Hey, what's up, guys? Superman Onyx here. WrestleFit, one of the newest, baddest workouts out there right now. Now, yes, the word wrestling is in it, but you won't be wrestling. You won't be doing the headlocks or the slams or the spine busters that I do. Yeah. But what you will be doing is everything that we do to get ready to get in the ring, from kettlebell swings to slam balls to flipping tires to hitting tires to doing Olympic weightlifting movements. Guys, you don't want to miss out on this. WrestleFit is the way to go. Gives you a little bit of everything. I hope to see you soon.
Do you have kids? Looking for a fun, inviting way to wear them out and help them stay healthy and fit? Then look no further, my friends. WrestleFit Jr. is exactly what you're looking for. Certified personal trainer and pro wrestler Superman Onyx will treat your mini you to a fitness program like no other. With exercises like running the ropes to tire flips, and combining healthy eating habits and personal accountability, your child will earn the conditioning of a pro wrestler without the bumps. Stop by the Now Training Center at 625 Eastgate Parkway, Blacklick, Ohio 43004, or visit WrestleFitJr.com on Facebook for class schedules and book an appointment today.
Hey, what's up, guys? Superman Onyx here. Hey, WrestleFit, one of the newest, baddest workouts out there right now. Now, yes, the word wrestling is in it, and I'm by a wrestling ring, but you won't be wrestling. You won't be doing the headlocks or the slams or the spine busters that I do. Yeah, but what you will be doing is everything that we do to get ready to get in the ring, from kettlebell swings to slam balls to flipping tires to hitting tires to doing Olympic weightlifting movements. Guys, you don't want to miss out on this. WrestleFit is the way to go. Gives you a little bit of everything. Hope to see you soon.
Oh, hey there, Bruiser Nation. Raise those anchors and get ready to wear the official merch of Bruiser Nation Productions. Visit bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com and show the world your love of the Bruiser Nation as you go about your day in style. We have Bruise Cruise podcast and To the Turnbuckle tees, hoodies, jackets, shoes, bags, and even pillows. You heard that right. Pillows. That's bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com. Once again, bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com. And remember, Bruiser Nation, stay good, because I'm always good.
to the Turnbuckle. Again, episode title, Cena-Claus is coming to town. This is our final episode of the year. Last one. We'll be back on January 24th. And you might say to yourself, well, Logan, what if something major happens between now and January 24th? We have already discussed that if something absolutely astronomical breaks between now and the 24th, we'll probably find a Tuesday and dust her off for you. And unfortunately, the things we'd be talking about is an unfortunate passing probably. Vince would have to make the quickest power play of all time.
I don't know. There's been some pretty quick power plays in hockey.
I don't watch a lot of hockey. That's a Canadian sport. I'm a red-blooded American male.
We play it here.
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and yes, so
We have a team here.
I don't give a damn about the team. Here's the truth. I want the Blue Jackets to do well. It's just something I can't get into.
It's so much fun there, though. Like, I can't watch it on TV. Huh?
Wait to listen to the Yeoman show you're on. I appreciate you.
Wow.
I was doing some research.
Bullshit.
He was like my
So-called Mr. I'm not the producer anymore, so I'm not going to do anything.
I
Isn't
was
doing
trying to
research.
find the video where the guy made the comparison between the Page situation and the Bandy Rose situation.
Well-
I was curious what he said.
Well, but how did we start talking about the Blue Jackets?
See, now you go here.
Because you said that it's a Canadian sport and you're a red-blooded American, so you're not into it. But I said, but we have a team here.
Well, we do.
And hockey is really fun there.
It's
I can't
really
watch
fun
it.
to watch
I
there.
can't watch it on TV.
So-
Just like soccer. And I played soccer, and I can't watch it on TV, but I'll go and have a great time.
I have the same problem with baseball.
Yeah, baseball's in that list on that
I
list too.
love playing baseball, but I cannot watch it.
Well, I think that people that aren't quote unquote fans of wrestling could say the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun going, but I can't. How do people watch that?
I mean that's fair.
And that's fair
That's
too, because
fair.
like
No.
I have way more fun at the shows we've been to than maybe watching it on TV sometimes. Not all the time,
No,
but
there's you're never gonna get somebody into wrestling on a TV. It's not gonna happen.
They've got
They
to
have to see him. Now, Jason still doesn't like wrestling, but Jason is technically involved in the business. He was the producer at the Mansfield show.
Win a reunion.
So I mean, like,
our best show.
he's kind of Well, I think it's our best show.
I really do. Those headsets.
Now we just got to keep building on it.
Nice job.
We had a better producer.
Haha.
All right, let's talk
Dick.
SmackDown. So,
You know I had to just get that
We
in.
had a director.
so John Cena announced.
Yeah, I didn't like his voice in my head though.
That's true. John Cena announced he's going to tag with Kevin Owens, face Roman Reigns, and Sami Zayn at the final SmackDown of the year in 2 weeks. That's right, you can see him. He showed up out of nowhere. He obviously cut a promo in front of.
I don't know. They cut a promo with a brick wall. Who does that?
So,
John Cena?
who was probably obviously.
Who was not there? He was like, I mean, he was there, but it was just a brick wall.
Yeah.
Why did I have to stare at a brick wall for 5-10 minutes?
Oh, because you can't see him?
Well, first of all, it was like a 2-minute promo.
Because he's built like a brick wall.
That's true.
But I assume it's because he was on some sort of movie set and he was like, "Yeah, I can do it. Can someone?"
Yeah, that
send
was
me
kind
my-"
of weird.
I assume he was on a movie set and he was probably like, "Yeah, I can do it, but can someone send me my uniform because I don't have it here with me?"
That's a lie. He probably does.
You think he carries around the?
Yes.
I mean, he can wear his jorts anywhere.
Sure.
Which
if
he
it's
probably
warm
does.
out, he probably is like, might as well advertise my merch and make some more money.
He
Like,
wore shorts
why
for
not?
20 years. The man probably wears them out in public.
All right, but what about the shirt and the hat?
Merch.
You think he has that?
I'm trying to sell this merch.
Maybe not all the time, but he's got it on him.
All right, so it's kind of the version of bring your gear.
Yes.
You just never know when.
Just never know when they're gonna call me.
I mean, it still is. He's not like The Rock. It's still what he's generally known for.
Well, yeah. Well, believe me, every time he pops up on WWE television, I go, "Suck it, Dwayne."
Dude, I bet even Dwayne still brings his shit when he makes
No,
one-offs.
what
Like
I'm saying
I
is-
bet he still brings it, even
should.
though he
People,
can't.
I guarantee you, there's more people now that look at Dwayne Johnson and don't look at him as The Rock, and just look at him as the actor.
And that's
He's
always
almost almost been forgotten as the Rock at this point.
and that's always been my point. Is what pisses me off. It's like I don't have an issue with you on the come up, but like when you become something that you're not in terms of like, let's not forget because without The Rock, he's not any of those things. That's the truth.
Well, that's why the Young Rock is in.
I hope that gets canceled.
Wow, JR said it was good.
I don't give a shit. What
Speaking of The Rock, see how the DCU internet community like freaked out on the fucking Rock? Yeah, because The Rock put the end credit stinger of Henry Cavill in Superman costume in the movie. Like that was totally his call.
He promoted it. So
Yeah, he promoted it. Sure,
I think he politicked.
he politicked and he failed.
Yes.
Because he wanted Cavill, but James Gunn has a different idea of like everyone's everyone's all mad and up in arms. Henry Cavill's like, well, see what sucks for him is his Witcher role got taken by Liam Hemsworth, so that sucks. So, but he's going, yeah.
I haven't seen Witcher in a while.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be the newest one.
Don't be surprised.
I like Liam, but no.
Witcher's a great show. I hope Liam can pull it off.
Is.
But like, I guess I'm trying to say like sometimes we get up in arms about some of the dumbest shit.
Don't be
Like
surprised.
I write an article, is this hatred gonna spill over into wrestling? Why is there hatred anyway? Like,
It's money.
I'm sure there's quite a few things you could be mad at The Rock at, like leaving wrestling basically on an island by itself, and
Give me Dwayne
running
Johnson,
off somewhere.
Give me Dwayne Johnson and James Gunn in a steel
it's
cage
like-
match right freaking now.
But it's like WB put the damn end credit stinger in. WB offered him his job back. WB sold. New people came in to make new decisions. I mean, why are we all of a sudden mad at The Rock for this? Like, come on.
Well, don't be surprised that Rock's ability to politics. You want to know who Brock Lesnar said taught him to be selfish in this business?
Probably The Rock.
The Rock.
But that's what I'm saying. What is he politicking for? Because he got what he wanted.
Who knows?
He had it all set up. They just weren't going to put him in a movie together.
He's a selfish, sheep-you, egotistical son of a bitch.
Well, it's fine. All wrestlers are.
Yeah, especially the ones under the table.
Not
That's
all
probably
wrestlers are. John Cena's not a selfish, sheep-you, egotistical son of a bitch. He's just a selfish, egotistical son of a bitch. Because he threw in pleasure fake.
But he is see-through because you can't see him.
Yeah. But are we surprised that? Let's get back to work here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are we surprised? I'll start with you, Amber, that John Cena's going to actually wrestle on that SmackDown. I kind of am, simply because we know that movie studios are cracking down on ever since Dwayne got hurt, because he can't stay healthy when he has a wrestling match, because he doesn't ever do it, or even probably try to condition. Somebody send him a freaking ring every time he wrestles. You actually do this, Dwayne, or do we got to fly down?
All right, I'm sorry. If he doesn't have one,
That's on him.
I'm upset.
Well, I mean, you can go find
I mean, fucking John Morrison has one. You mean to tell me Dwayne The Rock Johnson doesn't have a goddamn wrestling ring in his yard?
it wouldn't surprise me if for no other reason than
His daughter works for the company. She didn't start training with them. I would hope.
I've always felt like he has just, whether it be for good reasons or bad, he's just left that part of his life behind overall. And so why would you have it?
Why?
Did he ever have a ring, or did they send him one? I can't remember.
They probably.
He has a ring. That's what I thought. He has a ring, and then he always has.
Edge is the one they sent one to.
Yes. Anywho, John Cena going to team with Kevin Owens. They reportedly want this SmackDown to be must see at the end of the year. That obviously helps.
Well, does it though? If you can't see.
It's almost old. Not yet. We're almost there.
Yeah.
So
Are you mad that he's on SmackDown or not Raw because you can't see him live?
I'm not. No, look. I am not selfish enough to be like, damn, he ought to. No, John Cena could go work in Egypt for WWE, and I wouldn't care. I'm just glad he's there.
Are you going to that show?
Next Monday, yeah, I'm going.
That'd be so cool. No.
Me
What
neither.
if instead of Saudi, we did an outdoor show on the Giza Plateau?
I'm sure that's one of Vince's ideas.
That'd be so cool. Like not just for us, like that, because that'd be a cool visual for us. But I think that would be top 5, maybe 3 moments in a wrestler's career. Yeah. I got to wrestle in front of the pyramids of Giza. Like that would be like having WrestleMania here at the Shoe and Alexa Bliss wrestling at it. Like that kind of a thing. Like that would be that would be a top moment in her career.
It's never happening. The weather's not good enough the other time of year.
No. Build a freaking roof. We have the technology. Just build a roof, damn it.
They're not building a roof on the Shoe.
They should.
Why?
Because the history's too entrenched.
Well, I was saying why to him.
Why what?
Why build a roof on the Shoe?
So I can have a WrestleMania, damn it.
Look.
Or
in all intents,
or a Winter Classic for hockey.
In
all, I can't get that either.
In all intents and purposes, other than it being cold, they could do WrestleMania in the Shoe. They did it in Florida.
It's raining this time of year.
They did it in Florida and got rained on.
It's not even supposed to. I don't even think it's supposed to rain this week, is it?
I don't know. But I mean, they did it in Florida and got rained on. The pay-per-view got pushed back by like an hour, but they still did it.
I guarantee you, Vince was back. This is the last fucking time.
You can't control the weather.
I guarantee you, he's like, we're booking stadiums over the roof now from now on.
Build gigantic space heaters.
But you can't do that because they love their baseball shows. They love their baseball stadium shows.
There's several baseball stadiums that now have a roof.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I don't think Edge's pop would have been as momentous when he came back.
You obviously hope that it won't that it'll be open, but has that ability.
I still stand by my statement. Because it's totally possible to do it. You know, will they? No. But it's totally possible.
He came back in Houston, right?
Was it Houston? I think it was Houston.
That's got a roof. But it was open because the weather was good.
That's fair. But still, I still stand by my statement.
Yeah, because he came.
I'm not saying that they will,
didn't he?
but what I'm saying is that it's feasibly possible, and they have done it in rainy conditions.
But
like that's not an excuse.
I would be surprised to see them ever.
Oh, they'll never do it. They missed the boat already. If they were going to do it, it would have been the year Macho Man got inducted. That's the only time to do it. Other than that, why?
Does Cincy or Cleveland have a roof?
Nope. Another one.
They can build a damn roof then. I'll at least drive to Cincinnati or Cleveland.
I think the next 2 stadiums they build will have roofs, but you're talking about another probably 10, 15 years.
I don't know. They just changed the name, so.
Yeah, but stadium funding is so hard to get. It's so ridiculous.
Those contracts only last so long.
Oh, pretty popular right now.
It's a nightmare to build a stadium, especially for small towns like Cincinnati and Cleveland. They're not small towns overall, they are compared to a lot of the big cities. Anywho, so
well, the biggest problem with them is there's really nowhere to go.
Holy Christ, let's talk wrestling.
I'm just saying, like, where are you gonna go? There's nowhere to put it. Like everything's on the riverfront in Cincinnati. You can't really go to the other side of crappy Cincinnati.
Well, you can demolish this one and rebuild.
Yeah, that's why. Like, that's why building a brand new one is even more difficult for those smaller market teams because they're pretty landlocked. Yeah. So now you got to find. I mean, look how hard it was for the Crew to get a stadium. You gotta find land, and it's hard to find.
It's true. That's true. All right. Any other thoughts on John Cena?
I'm excited. I thought it was a great promo. I think there's a good portion of the talent that need to watch that promo on repeat for a few. Not saying that people can't cut promos. But they can. They can. John Cena showed you how to use your minute and a half to get a fucking match over. I mean, sure, everybody was excited. It's John Cena. He's on the TV. But, you know, he goes all John Cena-y, and the text messages, like, it's all the little things that he throws into that minute-long promo to accept being Kevin Owens' partner that got of course, John Cena's coming back, sure. Easily you could just throw a graphic up, and everybody would go nuts. But that was Pro Wrestling 101 on how to take a very limited time to get people solidly behind this matchup, these two teaming together. Like, it's random as hell, but because of the promo he cut and what he added to it on his own, I'm sure, because it's John Cena, shows you how easy it is, but how hard it can be. Like, you need to learn how to tap into that, and you need to grab these things and have wrestlers watch them because Cena's not there. It's not like AEW where they got a bunch of guys in the back. Like, do they seek out these guys? I don't know, because I don't know the AEW wrestlers. Some do, some don't. But, like, you could learn a lot from Jake the Snake Roberts. He asks questions.
The one thing I will say is it's the one that, like, if I'm playing, did I love the promo? Absolutely. Have I quoted it all week? Yeah, I love when he's, and we are running out of chances. The one thing I will say about John Cena's promo ability now is it's becoming more and more obvious, and here's a small criticism. Very small. I know you're about to be stunned. But it's becoming more and more obvious he's playing a character of himself. He's playing John Cena now. Does that make sense? Like, it's...
Like, he's over the top.
Yeah.
He's over the top, like, hey, it's me, John Cena. Yeah.
Like, he's becoming what people call Ric Flair out for. You're not Ric Flair anymore. You're playing, you're becoming a character of that. And so... That's my own, like...
I just didn't think it was believable. How are him and Kevin Owens best friends?
So, like, I wonder...
A lot happens when you step out of the ring. You make friends with anybody if you're not kicking their ass.
Like, I'm sure he still can, but I hope someday, and maybe it'll be at Mania for the build. I hope, because even in the Roman build, I thought, for the most part, he was kind of that over-the-top character.
Yeah.
I hope someday... soon he stops playing John Cena and becomes that again. For a small, just to show me you can, because I haven't seen it since the Bray Wyatt promo where he talks about him in the most overhyped. Like that's the last John Cena promo that I went. That's the same guy he always was. And I'm not knocking the promo. It was a great promo. It's fun. But all kidding aside, you can kind of tell he's like playing himself.
I think we'll get it depending on what his feud is for me.
And so that's. And again, I'm just being fair. Can John Cena continue to play himself for the next 20 years and will I really give a damn? No. He's John Cena. He could take a shit in the ring and I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, he needs to stop playing with himself.
But, well, he's got his own action figure and so it's tough. So yeah, like, do you understand what I'm saying, McCarthy? Does that make sense to you? Would you agree with that? That he's like playing John Cena instead of being John Cena at this point?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a fair assessment.
Because compare his last kind of full-time-ish promos. When's the last time? There's nothing in promo work that we're talking about as an all-time great with the stuff with Roman this last time around. Where the stuff with Taker was incredible. He carried that on his own. The stuff with Roman the first time around was incredible. He literally carried that on his own because Roman wasn't ready yet. The stuff with Bray promo-wise was incredible, especially given that we were transitioning to the Thunderdome. But the last, and again, we have limited snippets to go off of now because he's a very limited wrestler in terms of his schedule. But the most notable promo he cut during his most recent return was, "I'm just going to hang in there for the 1, 2, 3," and it sounded cool. But like, that's not you. John Cena doesn't just hang in there. John Cena's Mr. All Go, No Quit, Never Give Up, Big Nuts John Cena. And so, and the one
bigger than the Miz's?
Oh, absolutely. And I know that the Miz has got that condition, but God bless him. So yeah, do you understand my point? Or am I being like, I'm not knocking the promo. Again, he can continue to do this and I'll be satisfied. I don't care. But I also have to be fair and analyzing and going, is he becoming a bit of a character of himself lately?
I don't think we can go that far right now. I think it's more he's out of practice turning himself up to 11 as John Cena. Because that was really you don't do the record-breaking make-a-wishes if what you have shown us isn't really who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was very much him. Mm-hmm. Once he was John Cena, the guy, it was a very Austin-type situation. This is exactly who you are. We're just going to turn it up to 11. It doesn't work a lot of the times. Probably on two hands, of guys that have been themselves turned up to 11 and made it huge. Have they incorporated themselves into a character and made it big? Yes. But I think the Austins and the Cenas are a very rare breed in professional wrestling because not everybody's that interesting. Let's just be honest. I don't know if you're a wrestler or whatever you do, not everybody's that interesting in their personal lives. Sure. And so I think he's out of practice turning himself up to 11, and we've watched his whole career, so we notice it. Kind of a thing.
Where probably most of the kids.
Yeah, where no one else even thinks about it, but we're like, oh, that was weird.
Another thing I kind of think about, you're breaking down a pre-recorded promo, which that I think plays a factor into it because he doesn't have the crowd. You know, he's kind of he has to kind of get into character to do that promo because he's pre-recording it in some location somewhere where it's just him looking at a camera.
But
and out of practice as hell in that too.
Right. But I also noticed it during the Roman feud.
And like if you're comparing it to the Roman thing, yeah, I think you can say that. But this one in particular, because of the fact that it's out of pocket, I think makes it a little bit different.
That might be fair.
That's fair.
But I just think I notice him more and more kind of just. Like, it sounds odd because he's
silly.
He is that guy, but yeah, he lacks the edge.
I think it's the whole.
Can make him
he's not doing it all the time. I think that's what it is.
And he's not really been in the storyline where he had to be.
Because you could even look at it, Ric Flair, in the same way.
Well,
like, yeah, is he playing himself? Sure, but at the end of the day, he's kind of out of practice as cutting promos as the Nature Boy. You know, like it's not ever going to be exactly the same or close to it
because Flair's been through so much health-wise. He's drank himself like Ric Flair's become Ric Flair.
There hasn't been a feud though where he's had to have edge though. Think about that too.
But he should have with Roman.
Why? The last time they had a match together, he didn't take him seriously.
That's true.
Why would he take him seriously?
He did say like, I wouldn't be here if you could do your job
right.
To Roman Reigns.
I think that's why he played that way. And I still think you're right to a degree, but in that particular scenario, he's supposed to downplay Roman. He's supposed to look at Roman as, well, you still can't really cut it. I still don't believe you can cut it. You haven't really proved to me you can cut it. I'm still top dog, whatever, and then maybe now if they did it again, maybe he has the edge. But
I mean, we'll see what happens. It's just something I noticed. Again, I want to stress that I love the promo. Yes, could he continue to play this kind of goofball, over the top, Ernest meets John Cena version for the next 20 years, and I'll be happy? Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But also just from an analytics standpoint, as a fan, I loved it. When I go back in, because anytime John Cena shows up, I watch the shit like 5 times because it's John Cena. So when I go back and really kind of analyze it and take my fandom out of it, I'm like, something seems a little different there than what I used to know. All right, LA Knight got confronted by Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. Yes. So we finally had an Uncle Howdy sighting. That was kind of cool. My hat's off to LA Knight. He has completely shown up Bray Wyatt in this feud so far, and it's been incredible. That impression of Bray Wyatt was gold. He went, brother man. I was like, oh, and so LA Knight just proves that I've always thought that LA Knight, Eli Drake, whatever you want to call him, Max Duke, whatever, he is nearly as good on the stick as The Rock is. He's so incredible. And I felt that way back in his TNA days and his NWA days. He's incredible mouthpiece. And he has completely carried this Bray Wyatt thing because they have absolutely slow burned the out of it. We finally got some real pickup here. People are jumping to the conclusion that Uncle Howdy is a different person. I don't know if in character it's going to be. Like, yes, obviously it was. But I'm still kind of on your side, McCarthy. But let's talk to the man that loved it the most. You. Does this convince you that Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt are 2 separate characters?
I could be convinced that it's not. Like I've been on this.
No.
Hold on.
Okay, Switzerland.
Yeah, that was such a
I'm
BS
still on the
answer.
train that it's somebody else, but I can understand why people would think that it's not.
Such a snowflake answer. That's exactly what that was. Because he's wearing snowflake pants. They look comfortable.
They do.
I'm wearing gray sweatpants. I'm not dogging you for wearing it.
I hope it's cold on the 24th.
I'm just letting the audience know that I'm not being mean to any group of people. I called him a snowflake because his pants have snowflakes.
Yeah, they
The viewing audience.
Liberal Democrats or something, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, or crazy Republicans, or
We're not
crazy
we want
Shawn Michaels, religious
Snowflakes
types.
have feelings too.
We want you all
And
to
by that I
watch.
mean the snow.
We want you all
Maybe.
to watch.
I don't know.
But please finish your point. I apologize for cutting you off.
So confused.
So am I at this point. I still think that it's going to be somebody else. Only because it seems weird to, at this point, make it a part of his imagination. Like, with the play out with the Funhouse thing, it made sense that, they're different people, more or less. They're puppets, but they're all symbols of him. With this, I don't see a lot to make me believe that it's his imagination. Like, I can understand why people would think that way because of the way that we've done with the Funhouse, but it seems like every single time he's had to come to grips with something, this pops up. And why would he be conflicted with himself when he embraced the Fiend to not... I can understand why he wouldn't want to go back to that in character reasons, like in psyche reasons, but to have someone push the envelope, because it feels like someone's pushing the envelope for him to go back to that person. Why would he mentally push himself to go back to that person if he's trying to break free?
It has to be two people now. They don't have a choice. Would it be great if it was just Bray Wyatt? Sure.
Well, they have
But now,
choice.
do they?
I'm
Like, okay,
not
so
saying it's a
is
good- I'm
Uncle
not
Ha-
saying it's
so
smart.
okay, we go the imagination route.
Yeah,
Well, who the hell was that?
right.
Wyatt's imagination
you
can't
physically brought out
manifest.
somebody.
Yeah, so now hopefully you had a plan on who that was going to be, because if you didn't, you're in trouble. Because it is very hard in this day and age to accept the supernatural characters in pro wrestling.
God knows I'm sick of them.
They didn't pull this shit with The Undertaker, and he played a dead man for 30 years. So you can't go, oh, that's a figment of his imagination that he somehow turned real. Like, that's too far.
Well, I would agree with you, but again, we say they. It's not, to our knowledge, the same guy running it. This is a different guy.
They is they. I don't. It's.
No,
It doesn't.
How is they?
But it doesn't.
One guy makes the one.
But look,
no.
I said they in general. It doesn't change the fact that you're not going to be able to get people to buy into his imagination coming to life.
You can't get people to buy, like, the whole gimmick you can't really get people to buy into.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either. Making physical manifestations out of your imagination is going to cross the line and make people tune out of this gimmick. You can't do that because you had him come out. Yeah. If you wouldn't have had someone dressed as Uncle Howdy on Friday, you still had an opportunity to make it work and do whatever the hell you wanted. Now you have less options because you brought out a physical Uncle Howdy. It's not the pandemic, so it's not going to be a pre-taped type of cinematic match, and and you can't manifest your imagination, so that's going to be even more difficult for people to try to get pulled in and accept realism. Like, even with the dead man, there was a lot of realism involved with The Undertaker. Maybe not coming back after being buried alive and all that stuff, but a lot of what he didn't push the envelope so far that you couldn't believe it anymore. Like, even when he was shooting frickin' lightning bolts, because it was so few and far between. It's like, oh.
Well, also, The Undertaker is a benefactor of being The Undertaker. What I mean by that is he built up so much equity with people. We'll buy the hokey.
But I'm talking about
Ray
overall.
Wyatt kind of has
like,
too.
I brought The Undertaker
Maybe not with
into
you,
this.
but with
because they didn't try anything remotely close to this with the Undertaker as far as like making his imaginary people real. That's why I brought the Undertaker into it. It's a completely different conversation as far as body of work and everything else. But if you can't do it for the Undertaker, you're definitely not gonna be able to pull it off for Bray Wyatt as imagination coming to life.
I think you actually can.
But I was going to say, I think you make a good point because I think so many people, for some reason, and I love Bray Wyatt, I really do. I'm just really struggling with this story so far. Doesn't mean I won't come around on it or become its biggest fan. I'm not ruling that out either. But so many people love Bray Wyatt because, all kidding aside, when you tear down logically the SummerSlam return or whenever it was, when the hell was it?
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules. When you tear down logically, like, it makes no freaking sense, especially now. It makes none. We have, because we've literally done, why are the puppets around? Why are his puppets around at all when he has nothing to do with puppets now? Why? Nothing. When you really look at it, it makes no sense now.
Why are the puppets around?
When he came back,
Yeah, but that was at the beginning.
Yeah, and that was like he's breaking free from the funhouse.
Oh my God! And
Actually, it kind of was because they haven't been on TV since.
But people will buy, a certain portion of the fan base will buy if Bray Wyatt takes a shit in the ring. I don't know why.
But yet people go to AEW and break free from their supposed characters from the WWE, and we eat that up.
I criticize.
So why is it not the same thing?
First of all, I criticize that plenty. I do. You've seen me do it.
I have a theory of how you could actually make it work. When he brought in Alexa Bliss, what did he do? He brainwashed her, right?
Sure.
So, yes, in the same ring, or in the same arena, same time, we saw Bray Wyatt, we saw Uncle Howdy. We saw the video before where it was Uncle Howdy and LA Knight. How do we know we can't believe that he brainwashed somebody to be Uncle Howdy to mess with the psyche of LA Knight?
Was that strengthening my point that you can't do my imagination made this person?
Yes, I know. I completely did
Okay, I was just checking because when you started, it didn't sound like you were going to prove my
I just
point
thought
for
of
me.
it, so it's like, damn.
But is the physical version of Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas? We don't know what Uncle Howdy is in character yet, but was that Bo Dallas in your opinion?
Unless he put on a little bit of weight.
You can put on a fat suit though.
I mean, you could. You definitely could.
So I mean,
But-
I think it would be a good idea.
Oh, I definitely would love it.
I think those two together, and I loved Bo Dallas. The whole thing worked. At least in NXT, it did. The whole thing worked. I'm a huge Bo lever. Come on, who can't get behind Bo leave? Like, let's get serious for a minute. But they've never really been together, and I think we should at least try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But what harm could it possibly do? Wyatt's been through 4 different character changes already. If it doesn't work, another character change for him. Maybe Bo Dallas can do something else, and it is what it is. I mean, that's what a lot of wrestling is. I think that's why WWE will always have the edge on AEW, because WWE is willing to waste money on house shows, and AEW isn't. But house shows let you know what's about to get over.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this program in mind. All right, we got a house show in the Madison Square Garden. Go out there, see how they react. Okay, we're going to keep this going. That worked. Or, oh, God, that was terrible. We'll figure something out for the both of you.
Sometimes they even just do that on national television.
Sometimes they try to plan it out for the house shows, but
because there's some weeks of Raw and SmackDown, some weeks they don't give a damn. Just
No.
go try it.
But I mean, when they're trying to build feuds and month-long stories,
sometimes
you
that's
see it.
just the
'Cause
crowd anyway.
I think it was AJ Styles and Gunther that wrestled over the weekend.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. Well, that's probably going to be a feud either leading to WrestleMania or after.
But I'm curious how that's going to work because I was sitting on opposite brands. Let's see how it works.
Draft.
No one cares about the draft anymore.
What?
The brands.
Well, believe me, I agree. Which is why go ahead and tape an episode of Raw between the 2 house shows you're doing. Stupid.
And they need a break.
They're not getting a break.
See, so
I wanna
this
see
is
his
I
head
just figured this out. They pay them less for house shows. That's what it is. trying to cut a little bit off the top of that budget. Let's make budget this year.
Let's make different budget cuts.
I'm gonna hurt somebody. I'm gonna hurt somebody.
Because they're still wrestling on Monday. It's not like Raw couldn't be in Columbus. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like they get paid less for house shows, so that's why they did it.
All right. But I want to say this. I love that we saw some real progression with the Bray Wyatt storyline. As much as I want to like it. Like, I like Bray Wyatt. I like Supernatural to a certain extent. I really like it with The Undertaker, but again, I'm really burnt out on anyone that's not established. Like, Undertaker and Kane can come back and do the hokiest shit, and I'll be like, that was great.
Now, how is that fair to the new Supernatural people?
It's not. I don't
They
care.
should be given that same chance, and I brought it up 100 times. You want to know what The Undertaker was when he first showed up?
Hokey shit.
Choke in the corner. Choke in the corner. Choke in the corner. That's all he was.
Sure,
and look at him now. Now, he's The Undertaker. I just think that other people, in the fans' eyes, because we're not making money decisions, we don't know how much something's bringing in. We need to give them a little bit more slack when it comes to certain gimmicks, because no gimmick has ever worked right out the gate. Goldust didn't work right out the gate.
I wanna 100% agree with you that more grace should be given for a lot of things, for creative, for wrestlers, for everything. But I'm also here to tell you I'm not going to do it. I'm going to complain every single week.
Why must you guys hammer my tables? You never hammered the tables at the school.
Hold on, I hammered the hell out of the desk some weeks.
Yes, he did, actually.
Okay, why do you have to hammer my tables?
Because I didn't get to do it at the school, I guess. I don't know.
Like, yes, you are absolutely right, but I don't have the patience to do it, so I'm going to sometimes jump to conclusions. The best I can do for you is this: admit when I am wrong when it happens. As I was on Austin Theory, I jumped to a conclusion. I could have hurt somebody that evening.
You were so mad.
But I jumped to a conclusion, and I was wrong about it. So I think that's fair to, like, I'll admit that I do those things, and I will. And I'm going to continue to. You want to know why? I'm just a passionate man. And my passion won't allow me to be patient.
I mean, that's fair. It's who you are. It's who he is.
Yeah.
What do you want? I mean,
It's
at the end of the day.
It's being the son of Sherwin and Jackie. It's just ingrained in me. It's just.
Is that
who
your
I
parents'
am.
name?
Yes.
Oh, all right, cool.
It's just ingrained. It's who I am. So every week I watch this thing, and when it doesn't go the way I think it should go, I rant and rave.
That's fair.
And you know what? It makes us better podcasts for it.
Especially when I ran about winners coming. Yeah. Great.
Gunther defeated Ricochet to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Props to you, Ricochet, because usually I don't give a damn about what you do. But you showed me something here. You changed. Yes, it was overall still a little too flippy for my taste, but you tried to you tried to do some ass kicking, and I'm proud of you. Any thoughts on this match, Nopper? I'll start with you.
This is what happens when you put two styles that are entirely different together, and it can be absolute magic.
Ricochet can still get started, and I'd be all right.
I mean, every time you say that, I'm like, but you need guys like that.
Really
Will
do.
he ever be the world champion? No, because he doesn't have the charisma for it. He's not Rey Mysterio. He can't cut a promo like that. Could he one day maybe cut a good, really, really good promo? Because his promos have gotten a little bit better.
It was actually pretty good.
But there comes a point in time when, yes, you can see his faults. That his promos aren't great. He doesn't have the best body language charisma. But damn, can he sell like a motherfucker? Yes, he can. Can he entertain the crowd? Yes, he can. Can he get a good match out of anybody when given the time? Yes, he can. That is a very important piece to have on your wrestling show. It's important. That match was great.
It was.
It was great.
It was a great match.
And you need those. And it wasn't just a match thrown together. There was a reason. He wanted his Intercontinental title back. There was a story, like all of those things.
Props.
And it's so important to have guys like that. But on your same token, on your edge of the fence, it was start and stop with him for a long time. A long time. You know, it might be because, like, you can see how great he is. And does he do? And he's not nearly as flippy as half of the AEW roster. So let's just to be fair.
Believe me, I start looking at my closet real menacingly sometimes.
I guess that's just what I'm trying.
I've
It's
got-
like he's
believe me, everything I've said about Ricochet will pale in comparison to what I got to say about Jackson and that horrible ankle cell. Oh my God!
I can't wait till we get there. But I mean, that's all I guess I'm trying to say about
thank you.
Ricochet. Like, I mean, he's a very important piece to the WWE puzzle.
Maybe I should give him more of a fair shake.
Like I said, he'll never be world champion probably. If he does, great. But I mean, he's got things to work on.
There are some things that I can respect the fact that I need to work on, try to evolving. There's some things I'm not going to evolve on, and I don't care, and I'll be here until 2084 going, this is stupid. But there's some things that I can, that maybe someday I might see it differently. I don't rule it out. Just like I just said with the Bray Wyatt thing, I might end up loving this. I might become the biggest Uncle Howdy fan you've ever seen in your life because my fandom has evolved on some things over the years. We've seen it on this show. I'm sure some of the sound bites I've said would sound ridiculous compared to some recent episodes, but that's all right. Hit Row defeated Legado del Fantasma. The Viking Raiders. That's.
I mean, good on dude for losing 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Good on him. If you ever do that again, try Undertaker style and not Somersault Plancha style, because I
How about this?
think that's...
Never do that again.
Okay, I agree. I'm just trying to give some advice. Because I think it was the flip.
Yeah, it was.
I think he was so concerned about nailing that flip
He said
that
his
if he
leg
had
gave
just...
out.
Well, and that's fair, too, even if it did. But at the same time, you're a huge dude. You don't have to flip. We're already going to mark out because you're like 280 pounds and you just cleared the ropes. So you already got that going for you.
Yeah.
So why flip?
You're like a
Just-
falcon in midair.
just
We're already
fly.
impressed.
Just fly like The Undertaker used to. No big guy does that.
Big ass panda looking.
Like, I mean, seriously, like every big guy that jumps the ropes now, from Brian Cage to the Bear Cat to anybody else, I just thought it would be so fun to say.
The Bearcat.
They always try to like add a little something. You're already huge. You're doing something you probably shouldn't be doing, like in all aspects of physics and the human body. Why flip? Just a good. I'm glad he didn't get hurt.
Yep.
Let's not reinvent the wheel. Plain and simple.
And like I said, good on him losing 100 pounds. Hey,
I didn't
they
even
get a
know.
good payday. They're going to get their asses kicked, but they get a payday. Good for them.
Yay.
But the match was just there.
Yep, it was just there. All right, now let's talk a little Monday Night Raw. Damn it.
Oh boy.
Did you guys watch Raw last night?
I watched about half of it because I was really tired. Should we take a break first?
I had
Sure,
to
do you want to?
Yeah.
Got to pee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? Superman Onyx here. WrestleFit, one of the newest, baddest workouts out there right now. Now, yes, the word wrestling is in it, but you won't be wrestling. You won't be doing the headlocks or the slams or the spine busters that I do. Yeah. But what you will be doing is everything that we do to get ready to get in the ring, from kettlebell swings to slam balls to flipping tires to hitting tires to doing Olympic weightlifting movements. Guys, you don't want to miss out on this. WrestleFit is the way to go. Gives you a little bit of everything. I hope to see you soon.
I like it like I like Monday nights. Raw. The longest running weekly episodic television show in history. Kevin Owens and Seth freaking Rollins defeated the Usos. The bloodline was all over. I just want to, again, if you don't believe how influential the NWO is, then watch this edition of Monday Night Raw. This was them. This was Bloodline World Order.
Yeah, that's fair. Seemed very NWO like. Which I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting on spray cans and everybody would say "too sweet, way too high," voice cracks.
Tough.
It was. Do you agree that was? It felt like Triple H or somebody was like, "I just watched the Monday Night War documentary again. Let's do something like
Let's
that."
do that. I mean, maybe a little bit. It seemed very similar.
It seemed very, because there Roman was to start the episode and from some secure locker room location, and then next thing you know, the Bloodline's attacking the whole roster. This is getting very NWO-esque. And I realized that had I been this old during that era, I would probably hate Hulk Hogan. Probably would.
Well, you were supposed to then.
Yeah, and then they ruined it. Made cool heels.
Yeah.
They started it.
They did.
Like, maybe Flair and the Horsemen knocked on the door, but the NWO kicked it the hell down.
Cool for school.
What do you think of that? I'll start with you, Mr. Carly, because I know that you didn't have a ton of time to watch Raw last night, Napper. Do you think that's bad for your roster to get beat down by a group? Because all kidding aside, one of the things we criticize the NWO for in the kind of the waning years of it is, do you think it's bad kind of beating down everybody? It makes your roster look a little weak.
With the NWO, it was more the super inflation of the group. I think we complain about more than beating up everybody.
Yeah,
because if you do it the right aspect, I mean, jump one dude or three dudes from behind. You have one person more than them. It's kind of believable. It doesn't matter if you're Brock Lesnar or Mustafa Ali. You're getting jumped. That's a believable thing. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is you're going to repeat the past, especially in wrestling, and make it your own.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that big of a deal that they did it. But it's coming to the point where probably Bloodline needs to end at WrestleMania. Because now you've done the NWO beat everybody up thing now. You've been running roughshod over everybody in matches. Right about now, NWO time is when everybody was like, started to get a little bit much.
Like, that's when they started bringing the Wolfpack to try and freshen it up.
Yeah,
For like all the 2
I don't think it was so much the jumping of people. It was the overinflation and not backing off a little bit.
Well, here's where and again, I guess if it was Hogan leading the charges, well, differently. But here's where I'm a little upset with it. It wasn't the beatdowns I was having an issue with. Like, yeah, beatdowns happen. But when you are demeaning your roster to the point of, hey, let's come talk to this cell phone video while we're beating them down. That's just not a good look to me in terms of you're telling me that one of these members aren't even in this fight and you can't mount any kind of an offense to some extent. I understand getting beat down from behind. But it's hard for me to take the believability because yes, getting beat down, you're going to get beat down and lose the fight. But if you and I get beat down, we're still swinging. I'm still scrapping on you. And so when literally, hey, come over here and talk to the people in the cell phone video, that to me takes it out. Because any quote unquote real fight, and I know this isn't real, but any quote unquote real fight, you're not like, hey, I'm on Facebook Live right now.
Well, I mean, when you look at it like that, why do we watch this at all? You trade punches and you wait. That doesn't happen in a real fight. Beat downs in the ring happen the exact same way. You go taunt the crowd while someone's laying there on the ground. Do you really think in a real fight, if you're not knocked the fuck out and someone's over here,
like 30 seconds to get up,
like you can't pose and stuff like that. I think you're just being a little too critical on the situation.
Well, perhaps
it's like someone's getting jumped in the street people pull out their cell phones. If anything, it makes it more believable because shit like that happens in real life. People get jumped, people pull out their cell phones.
Yeah.
Well, where are you on it? I know you didn't see a ton of Raw.
Right.
The first hour overall was filled with random ass beatdowns by the Bloodline, and they would record it on a cell phone video, and they would just beat up members of the roster like Dolph Ziggler. Who else did they get?
Mustafa Ali. I don't remember anybody else. I just couldn't. I had to go to bed.
Yeah.
About 9 o'clock.
But those kind of mid-card, lower mid-card guys were beat down, and like I said, there was like 3 of them in the first hour. They didn't do anything more after that.
Yeah.
3 of them in the first hour, and that's another thing. It's like 3 in the first hour. How about 1 an hour? I just thought that's a little much. Like, I know we're killing time here because that's what Raws are. We're killing time. But because that damn third hour that we're never getting rid of, people go, "Can we get rid of the third hour?" Yes, we theoretically could if you want to lose a ton of revenue. And that's what this company's all about. We found that out with Mandy Rose. Do you think it's a good idea to have the Bloodline beating down most of the roster? I don't. Yeah. I don't.
I do.
Give me your thoughts.
I think so, just because of where they're at as a faction. Because they're probably at their most highest peak they can go. And it's crazy to think that because of the whole, they're undefeated, undisputed champions, stuff like that. But I think it makes sense because of the War Games match and showing the collective dominance as an entire group. I think that's the next step, is you start running roughshod over the roster and start attacking the roster before your ultimate downfall. Because I think that's what we're setting up for. Because I agree with you. I think at some point you've got to show. I don't know if you have to do a complete obliteration of the Bloodline, but you've got to show at least either.
The title's got to go.
Yeah, the title's got to go. They've got to at least split off somehow, like Sammy split off, Solo split off, something like that. Like they've got to fracture in some capacity. The title's got to go. That has to all happen by Mania. And you could maybe keep the titles on the Usos, but still have a feud after Mania. But the titles on Roman, they've got to go.
That is why I personally think the best route, and I know this isn't happening because it doesn't sell as well, is I agree, a fracture needs to take place, which is why I think one Uso should go with The Rock and one Uso should go with Roman. We do a big-time tag match. Whoever wins, whatever. And we leave the titles out of it. He doesn't have to put them on. He could still have them. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but he could put them on the line on night 2 or whatever night, because we're doing 2 nights now.
I think right now the running story is that he'll put one on one night and one on the other, which I'm okay with. Like that'd
be all right.
That'd be okay. I think that's a good way to do it, especially now that you're consistent with these night 1 and night 2 shows.
I feel badly for whoever would get the main event slot on night 1 and night 2. Like that sucks. It's great.
They need to start doing like deals where you get both tickets.
Yeah.
And people will like plan to.
Well, I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do, but like,
and I feel bad.
I don't know. I haven't looked at prices for those kinds of shows because they've been so far freaking out.
And I feel badly for the roster that, like, all right, yeah, we know night 1 or night 2 is going to Roman, but we have this night to shine.
I mean, think about last year.
It's always like that.
That is.
When you have a huge match like that, it's always like that. We could talk about this till we're blue in the face. Rock and Hogan should have gone on last.
Yeah, no,
Taker
and
Taker and Shawn should have gone on
You're
last.
misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is I feel badly for the guys that Roman Reigns is looking like he's going to be in both nights of the WrestleMania main event. That's a spot. I'm sure someone wants that spot that didn't get it in one of those nights. That sucks for the guys.
Do better.
You know what's funny? When it's Goldberg, it's fuck the guys. But when it's anybody else, what about the boys? That's so funny to me.
Well,
Goldberg comes in and takes a spot that someone else could have used and been able to do that.
He's not going to be in the main event of either night of WrestleMania.
That we know of.
But no, you're misunderstanding my point. When
Brock
this
Lesnar
exact
too.
same scenario happens with the Goldberg or Brock Lesnar with titles on the line in the main event, oh well.
It's Brock Lesnar.
But when it's Roman, just because you don't like Roman Reigns, what about the boys?
I I wouldn't want the Undertaker to go and close both nights. Of
Just-
WrestleMania.
Yeah, because
Just saying, like in the past, because
no,
that's
I mean, period.
that's
I
one of the
mean,
things. But that's one of the things
no.
we've bitched about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar
Fine.
doing part time for, and you've defended them for it,
I'm not
and have
talking
never
about
brought
part-time.
up the boys.
I'm not talking about. But what you're doing is misconstruing my argument.
No, your argument is that someone else could have had that opportunity if Roman
Yeah.
Reigns is on both nights.
Yes.
Someone else could have had that opportunity had Goldberg not returned.
No. That's,
Yes, that's actually factual. Had Goldberg said no, someone else would have wrestled.
Because Goldberg is correct in saying I'm a bullpen guy. If you were doing your job, they wouldn't call
No,
me in.
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking. You literally said, I feel bad for the boys
Yes.
because Roman's going to be in the main event of both nights. But not one time have you ever said, I feel bad for the boys because they called Goldberg. I feel bad for the boys because they called Brock Lesnar and they took somebody's spot.
Because there's no one better fit. There's
yes,
no-
there-
But it,
Not
but,
in
then
terms-
give them,
Not-
give them a chance to prove that they belong there.
They have 10 months to prove they belong there. People always say
but
this
no,
bullshit
no,
thing about part-timers.
no. It's not about part time.
No,
It's the situation that you brought up and you said. You never stick up for the boys when it comes to Goldberg or Brock Lesnar taking somebody's spot, regardless of how good Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are.
Because it's one night a year in a Saudi show that is different.
We're talking about WrestleMania.
One night a year is WrestleMania.
We're talking about WrestleManias. How
Well, two
many
nights
spots have those two come in part-time and taken, and not one time on this show have you said the words, I feel bad for the boys because they
got a right
lost
to
their
be on
spot.
the card.
I never said
No,
they
they don't.
didn't. I didn't say they can't be on the card. They have taken main event spots from people, changed the whole complexion of Jericho's last WrestleMania that he was on. So let's keep all this in mind right now. All of this has happened at WrestleMania. They have actively taken spots from full-time wrestlers.
Yeah.
Logan Morris has never said, I feel sorry for the boys because they could have had that spot. But when it's Roman Reigns, someone else could have that spot. What? Make up your mind.
First of all, I can decide whatever the hell I damn well please, number one. Number two...
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy in the
it's not
statement that you
hypocrisy.
made.
Yes, it is. First of all, I'm talking. Don't cut me off. Thanks. Here's my problem. To me, it's not the same situation. Yes, Brock Lesnar... let me explain. I'll be glad to do it. As you sat here on the first hour and said, let me finish. Well, let me finish. Here's where I think it's a little different. Yes, do they come in and quote-unquote take a spot? Yes, I guess technically you are correct. I will give you that. Number two, here's where I think it's a little different. I'm talking about main eventing both nights of WrestleMania, something that Brock Lesnar or Undertaker or Goldberg have never done.
Because they never had the chance.
Give me a second. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Let me finish, please. And here is where I'm saying, when people always talk about part-timers and these things of that nature, yes, can they take a spot? I just gave you that. That's fine. But let us not pretend that for 10, 11 months out of the year, they're not on the card. They're not around. So that's where I go, people say, well, they take a spot. Yeah, they do for that one time. But that's cool for one time, right? Like if Goldberg was around 11 months out of the year, that's not okay. I get it. But one time here and there after you have literally spent the last 2 years, he hasn't had a pinfall loss in 3 years, Roman Reigns is not. Baron Corbin...
Brock didn't for a long time either.
Baron Corbin and the dog food is the last time he had a pinfall loss of any kind. Any sort of a loss, period. So when I say I feel bad for the boys, I mean coupled with night one, night two, we've had to suck this guy's ass for the last 10 years in terms of being the top guy, thanks to VKM. So yeah, I feel badly for that. Would I have an issue with him being on the card both nights? No, but being a closer both nights, I take a little bit of issue with that because there are, frankly, I don't buy all the hype that Roman Reigns is the best wrestler on the God's face of the planet. I don't view in that lens. I don't. Because he only got better when they stuck him with Paul Heyman. That's it. When he was the top guy on his own, he sucked. Some of that is due to Vince. Yes, absolutely, 100%. But guys that were also micromanaged by Vince, John Cena, figured out a way to make that trash and turn it into chicken shit, but he couldn't do it because he's not quite good enough. And let's be honest, it all goes back to the only reason we continue to act like he's God's gift to earth. And again, great run, not disputing that. But it all comes from being the cousin of Dwayne, and that's what it all comes from. That's the whole story we're telling now. So yeah, coupled with the fact that for every single year we have to watch this guy take a spot in terms of the main event, yes, I do feel a little bad for the boys in that sense because, and I feel bad for the girls because how many times do they take pride in main eventing night one? Tell me when the last time, except for, I think, WrestleMania 33 was the last time that any part-timer main evented Mania?
Goldberg, yeah, probably, and it was Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
They weren't the main event, but thanks. The 33 closure was Roman Reigns and Undertaker, but that's fine.
Any world title match is a main event in WrestleMania now.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate you.
It's kind of how it is. Second of all, they've had one double night WrestleMania, so that argument is invalid too because there's no frame of reference. And I'm not even defending.
They've had three.
I'm not defending Roman Reigns. You're over here like I'm defending Roman Reigns. I am asking and wondering and stating why and how it is hypocritical to complain that Roman Reigns...
You never asked me any questions. All you did was yell.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah. All I'm saying is be consistent because you didn't ask me shit.
Okay, that's right. I didn't ask you shit, but I proved you fucking wrong, bro. But no, you're hypocritical. Because, like I said, I'm not defending Roman Reigns. I'm not bashing Brock. I'm not bashing Goldberg for taking spots. I am saying that it is hypocritical as hell for you to jump to the moon when those guys take main event spots when they've been gone all year long. But Roman Reigns to finish a story, hopefully finish a story with Dwayne, and hopefully give the title to Cody, you feel bad for the boys. Yeah. You're inconsistent. You just told me to be consistent. Be consistent. Can you either care about the boys or you care about the stars?
Well, I think you can care about both.
Then why have you never defended the boys in this situation? Because Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are involved.
I defend the boys plenty in search. I ran it as hard as you did when it came to releasing them during a pandemic. Why? Because at the end of the day...
Now that they're all back, you hate it.
Well, not all back. I don't hate. The only people I think should still be fired to Hit Row, and they continue to prove that every single week. Braun Strowman probably too, because he's a big waste of money and an asshole. But other than those two, I don't see the great value in them. But do I think they should be fired is a different tune. But my whole point is, and again, it's different than main event and being on a spot. Have I said to you that Goldberg should have won that title? No. I made very clear to you that shouldn't have been the case.
How is that this conversation?
Hold on.
No. You asked me a question. I'm answering. Okay. How is that brought into the conversation? Because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about spots, not who walked away with the championship at the end of the day.
So your problem is them being on the card, period. Then.
I don't care if they're on the card. I am saying...
about spots.
See, this...
No, there's a certain spot I care about. Being on the card is fine. Everyone, even people...
Look, in the past,
yeah,
Goldberg has taken main event spots from full-time wrestlers. Brock Lesnar has taken main event spots from full-time wrestlers. The Undertaker, John Cena have all taken spots from year-long full-time wrestlers. Yeah. Is that on the wrestlers for not making themselves stars and making it so the veterans aren't as needed? 50-50. 50-50. Because it's going to come down to booking too. But at the same time, they took those spots. I didn't hear you say, what about the boys? I feel bad for so-and-so because Goldberg gets a title shot out of nowhere at WrestleMania. I feel bad for the boys because Brock Lesnar gets a title shot at WrestleMania out of nowhere. That never happened. That's the whole conversation. It's not about who wins, who lost, or whatever. This is about you having an issue and trying to defend the boys because you don't like Roman Reigns.
I wouldn't quote unquote.
What about the boys? I feel bad for the boys, which is something you have never stated when it involves Goldberg or Brock Lesnar in the exact same situation.
When it's Goldberg, I'll give you. But again, when it's Goldberg, I can give you that. With Brock Lesnar, I truly believe he could kick the living shit out of anyone on that roster. Therefore, I don't care because I think he's in the best interest because the whole point of this business is realism. You don't have to suspend much belief with him. It's like Jimmy Smith said. Roman Reigns looks like a guy that can fight. Brock Lesnar is a guy that can fight. We shouldn't be comparing the two.
We're talking about taking spots.
So because Roman Reigns didn't have a UFC career, it's his fault?
We're talking about taking someone's spot here. Not who they are, not what they can do in real life, not what they did prior. We're talking about spots.
All right, let's answer this question. Maybe you both got different answers. Let me know if you do. What do you consider to be a spot? When we talk about spots, what do you define it as? What do you define it as? On the card?
Right now you're talking about the main event, right?
Yeah, that's what
he
I'm
just
talking
gave you a ton of information.
We are talking
Brock
about the main
Lesnar's
event,
been in the
and
main
I've done it
event.
multiple times and given you hard evidence that it has happened and stated the absolute truth that you have never defended the boys and said, oh, I feel bad for the boys in that situation.
Sure.
But because it's Roman Reigns, you feel bad for the boys.
Yeah, because I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough because because I'm the only one that's consistent around here. Because no, I didn't just buy into it because of in terms of Roman Reigns, I am. It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry that I'm not allowed to change my opinion. You know, I used to hate John Cena until I saw him work again.
First of all,
I hated No. You heavily implied that we are not consistent in who we cheer for, and I'm going to call you a liar right now because I hated Roman Reigns just like you did until he made the character change. I like the character. Sorry that I enjoy the Roman Reigns character. I like it. Heaven forbid.
Can he work circles around Brock Lesnar?
I never said he could.
Mister, I care about work.
I do like workers, but I'm not allowed to like... Roman Reigns can work too.
I'm not telling you who to like.
Roman Reigns can work too.
But I'm saying, from my standpoint, you have to keep in mind, this is what's called my opinion. You can feel whatever... You can stick your finger up...
No, but you sit here and say you're the only consistent one on the show and all this other bullshit because we're willing to take a second look at things and possibly change our minds? Just like how I stopped bitching about Goldberg on this podcast because I paid attention to what he was doing, what he was saying, and he was acting like a professional.
Yeah, it sure sounds like you're done bitching about Goldberg. You've only spent the last 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was using him as a fucking example, not bitching about it.
Well, your tone heavily implied.
My tone did heavily imply. I do.
Having that spot.
No, I'm saying where was your I'm sorry for the boys when Goldberg took that spot. I'm not bitching about him taking the spot. Sure. I'm asking where is your what about the boys? I feel bad for the boys when they walk in the door and take a main event spot at WrestleMania.
I can feel badly for it, but also be fine with it. I can say, yeah, that sucks, but not care. We do it all the time. Everyone does it. Chris Jericho shouldn't be a world champion of any promotion at this age. But who cares? Because Chris Jericho. Because you're a fan.
Chris Jericho can still work.
Should he be the world champion of any promotion at 53, 54 years old? Should any 53, 54-year-old be the world champion? No.
You can have a good match, sure.
Why? Your time is done as far as being a world title guy goes. You can have a good match, yes, absolutely. But should you be the top guy in any company at that age? Probably not. Probably not. Look, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of Goldberg, so y'all make excuses for him just as you will Chris and just as you will anyone that you like. You're so Switzerland, I have no idea.
But that's the thing, though. I'm not sitting here making excuses. I'm not bitching that they took those spots. What I'm saying is, over here on the right, Goldberg shows up, takes a main event spot, to the moon. You're super excited. I am wondering why. Just because it's Roman Reigns, you feel bad for the boys. That just doesn't make sense to me. It's hypocritical. I feel bad for the boys because someone else could have had that spot is what we have all bitched about when it comes to Goldberg and Lesnar walking in the door and getting a title shot.
Besides Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, Who on that roster deserves that spot?
I think Drew McIntyre deserves that spot. I'm not, and let me be clear. I'm not advocating for Brock Lesnar or Goldberg to have that spot.
Never said you were.
I'm clarifying that for you. I think Drew McIntyre deserves that spot. Absolutely. I think Kevin Owens deserves that spot. Absolutely. It's a pretty small list of guys, but those are about the other two I think of. Maybe Austin Theory, but it's a little high for him. But yeah, so I'm going to go with Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre come to mind, especially Kevin Owens. Really, think about the year he's had.
Kevin Owens is amazing.
Yeah. So I can understand you're upset at my hypocrisy, and guess what? I have news for you. I don't give a damn. I can say whatever I want to fit, whatever narrative I want to spin, because that's what I can do.
Well, it's 7 o'clock, so we should probably move this along.
Probably.
But no, I don't. Guess what? I'll have 2,300 more hypocritical takes next year, and just to see your blood pressure raise.
Good. Call me inconsistent again, too. You'll see it raise through the roof.
I'm going to keep calling you inconsistent.
Good. Because you know what we like to do here on To the Turnbuckle? Bitch at each other.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk about before we move on? I have no idea.
I don't know what's gonna not raise.
Ooh, Alexa Bliss smashed Bianca Belair. You know what I want to talk about this?
That might raise our blood pressure for
I have
other
a problem.
reasons.
I'll let you guys
I have a problem.
Go ahead.
Here's my problem. You are the women's world champion. You legit looked at your challenger and said, I don't trust you, Alexa. No shit, Bianca. She's coming to take your title. Why would you trust her to begin with?
Yeah, because
That was the most
Sister
asinine state. Take away the Sister Abigail thing.
As if you really needed a reason to not trust her.
You're trying to take my title. I don't trust you. I don't need a reason not to trust you if you're trying to take my title. Like, you almost hit me with Sister Abigail.
They were friends before.
Well, when the match is over, we're friends again. Until then, I don't trust you. Stay away from me.
But
I didn't see it, so I have no comment really. But yeah, that does.
It was just so weird. It took me out of the whole thing. I was like, man, what the hell is she talking about? Of course you don't trust her. She wants your title. Why would you trust her in any way?
I feel like that's one of those things where writers just kind of miss the mark a little bit, because I'm sure they're still writing for them. That's something where writers miss the mark a little bit.
well, it's I'm
Yeah,
sure.
you can't fire the writers. Hollywood would come
Oh
after
God,
you.
of course not.
I'm not kidding. They probably would.
I,
The Hollywood would come after him. Half the writers are from Hollywood.
I'm interested to see where, and we're going to keep using the word of the day, inconsistent. But don't worry, McCarthy, don't throw a chair at me. It's not you. Bray Wyatt is breaking away from the Fiend character. That's what I've been told, and that's what I'm understanding. Correct. But yet, Alexa Bliss is kind of coming back to it. How does that work for me?
PTSD does weird things.
Sure.
I don't know.
I'll have it for
That's
that.
the best I got.
Answer it. I can answer it, maybe.
All right.
Because, and maybe it's changed, because they've shown that graphic so many times, I think even they've kind of messed it up a little bit. At first, I swear it was remember they had that whole thing where, like, Bray's was like a red circle and Uncle Howdy, it was like a yellow circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Uncle Howdy going after Alexa Bliss because she killed the Fiend and broke the Fiend, whatever, and took Bray Wyatt away from the Fiend. And
Who knows?
who knows?
But it's nice.
Well,
to
we're
know
gonna
that-
find out.
That sounds like that should have happened a year ago.
But it's nice to know.
It would have, except one guy got fired.
But it's nice to know that hey, if something flashes on the screen, it makes people behave differently. That's just great.
I mean, Roman Reigns flashes on the screen and you lose a conniption.
I hate that guy. Can't wait till it goes.
I just think he doesn't like Samoans.
I like Samoa Joe.
Okay, he doesn't like the Inouye family.
Yes, I hate them.
What about Solo Sikoa?
Hate him too.
Really?
Yep.
He's
Why?
He's
Guilt by
Inouye.
association.
That Umaga tribute was awesome.
I agree. Still sucks. All right.
Now I'm gonna throw a chair at him.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll see you guys in a month.
We had to make the last show of the year one no one would ever forget.
Yeah, I'll have PTSD from this sitting at this fucking table. All right, I think we ought to talk winter's coming.
Oh yeah, let's
think
do
we
that.
have to. Yeah. I'm going to praise Chris Jericho shortly, even though I shouldn't, after the way I was treated and besmirched and insulted and belittled. MJF defeated Ricky Starks to obtain his world championship. I gotta give number one. I want to give Ricky Starks credit. The promo he cut earlier in the night before the match made you believe he had a chance. That's hard. That's damn hard to do when he clearly didn't have a chance. I thought that was fantastic. As far as the match goes, might have been MJF's best match. Might have. It's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks, it was his best match in AEW. No, this is such a. My nitpick is this, and it's nothing. It's just that we have 6 months of story here, and you just crammed her into like one night, and that sucks. Yeah. And then something's wrong. Good.
Jason probably threw pizza rolls in.
Onion or it's probably the police.
Oh no!
We're doing a podcast. We promise we're not that upset at each other. So cool. We're still on. Yay. Okay. That was weird. Something does smell.
Amazon.
All right. We love you, Amazon.
I don't even know it was Amazon. I just guessed.
It's always Amazon.
But the one thing I didn't really like was, did you watch AEW? No. Okay. The one thing I didn't like is suddenly the Diamond Ring wasn't even talked about. Like, that's right, she didn't. That's right, she didn't. Yeah, that's right. Hell yeah. So I'm about to kick the shit out of your father. I say kick with my legs. I really couldn't hurt him.
Kick? I'm jealous.
This is want to see the best I can do?
Yeah. Ooh, that was impressive.
That's about it.
That's pretty good.
It was. I love. How dare you damage Dr. Pepper?
Well, it was a very light shuffle. Like, just give it 30 minutes, you can drink it again. Did you also notice how Diamond Ring was something you forgot about during the match?
Yeah.
Did you like that or hate that?
No,
I hate
no. So we'll start with the good. The match was great. The pre-match promo was great. I mean, the match was everything I expected from two guys with the history that they have. Mm-hmm. Okay. What in the fuck are you doing?
Both said it like 20.
When this was first announced, the Battle Royal was the winner of the Battle Royal was to wrestle MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah.
The winner
Yeah.
of that match
Yeah.
would have, I believe, up to a year
Yeah.
to challenge the champion whenever he wanted.
Yeah.
7 days later,
Wait, no, you gotta
it was
do
actually like
you gotta do it. You gotta do it this way. 7 days later.
3 days later, actually, because I think they announced it when we were in Mansfield that it changed. Because I remember bitching about it. They changed it to a winner takes all.
Doing that a lot, been a lot.
Why?
Feel that, Sonny.
Why?
I don't know, because
You had
you're grumpy Gus and Mansfield. I don't know.
months of easy storytelling in the palm of your hand that you originally wrote. Tony, what are you doing? You overthought this whole process and what's even worse,
What happened?
this is so damaging to Ricky Starks. Where does he go from here now?
To the toilet.
How does he get another title shot? How does he stay in the main event picture? If they'd have kept it like it is, you could have given him the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which they really need it to be on a face. It's been on MJF, a heel, for 3 years. It's time, probably, but it was time to give. Not only take it away from him, because what's the fucking point? He is the world heavyweight champion. Now it's worthless. It is. The Dynamite Diamond Ring is worthless now. He's the champion. He holds it. It's worthless. And now what do you do with Ricky Starks? You could have...
TNT?
Could have, but this is what Tony does too much of. He overthinks things. When Ricky Starks organically got over from his time from Team Taz to now, he's always been charismatic, but his promos have gotten better. He's always been good in the ring. His ring work has gotten even better. And this is how you reward him? This is how you reward him. That's some Vince stuff. Totally. And not saying he did it maliciously, because in this type of situation, I don't think Vince would have either. You overthink something that you had in the palm of your hands. Try to tweak it to make it more interesting, and you shot yourself in the foot.
Allow me to be Switzerland for a moment.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Sort of like he told me with Austin Theory, maybe we should just give it time.
Yeah, we for the where Ricky Starks is going, yeah, we should give it some time. But if you wanted the
Yeah, but
Diamond
he's
Knight,
also not saying like it's gonna kill Ricky Starks' like career. Like
it's just
he's
you
never
don't have.
gonna be-
Yeah, what's he gonna do now?
it's just more like what's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, what?
It's like you thought Austin Theory was dead.
I sure did.
He's like,
I don't think anybody's saying that Ricky Starks is dead. It's just like
I might have broke a piece of my desk.
and the worst part is like, and now Powerhouse Hobbs
I'll show you.
is back on TV next week.
But he's right. It was similar stupid decision because it's like you put the Money in the Bank on the line in an open challenge.
I have said
What the heck?
I said things about Triple H that night that I have never said on this show, and I've said a lot of heinous things on this show.
Especially about Triple
But like
H.
you shot yourself in the foot because of course MJF just got his title, so Ricky Starks wasn't going to win the title right now.
Of course not.
So you took away our suspension of disbelief. And did you ever want the Dynamite Diamond Ring concept to get over? Because you had a really good chance.
They've had a lot of concepts I'm not convinced they want to get over.
They just do it to do it.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel that way
Insert
sometimes
Battle
too.
Royal
It's
here.
like-
One of those. Let's just try.
at least the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal this year was good for a Battle Royal. Let's give them that.
That's fair.
Let's give them that.
But like, we've given them a diamond ring, we've given them a chip.
It's just like,
It all means nothing.
it's like, what are we
It's
doing?
like Tony Khan just sits at his desk like, what can I put on the line
Yeah.
for a battle
Yeah,
royal?
and the name of
I've
the
got
line.
a poker chip. Let's put that on
Let's
the
do
line.
that.
the
I got that from my trip to Vegas. Let's put that on the line.
this keychain.
Oh, that'd be great. Because that would make it more difficult because it's hanging and it's all small and shit. Like, you could have a fumble midair. Oh my God.
But
At least Hunter for last on Monday put on bags of money.
Did you like the airport requirement clear bags that had fucking money in it?
I was like, that's somebody's bag that they had to go through the airport. That's either Mrs. Deck or Dexter's bag that they had to go through the airport.
Yep.
Hunters.
One of the two. Perhaps it was Bronson Reed's. Here's your bag.
Here's your bag.
He's like, hey, welcome. Like he just landed like an hour before Monday Night Raw. We need something to put the money in. We forgot the briefcase at home.
They have to be able to see it.
Guys, I've got this.
I have the damnedest thing. That'll work.
Damn it.
All right.
Dude, what's next?
Action Andrade defeated Chris Jericho. This was magical. My hat's off to you, Chris. No one does this at his level for a guy that is at Andrade's level. Or on
Andretti?
Andretti.
Action Andretti. I know.
That's what he
It's like,
said.
what?
Saying action at Andretti's level because, well, they just don't. The closest thing you can even come to is Flair made a lot of people look good in the 80s that didn't belong to look that good, but he rarely ever put them over. Like, he did put Sting on the map, but Sting kind of deserved it at that point. Like, it's so unheard of for someone of this magnitude to do that kind of a favor. I quickly said that it was kind of similar to Cena and Taker, and what I meant by that was, and yes, it was Taker, that's why it's not quite the same, but the way that all can aside Taker just clocked Cena kayfabe-wise, it's like, damn. And so, just my hat's off to Chris Jericho. He continues to prove why, at this age, he's incredible. And here, let me show you some hypocrisy. It should be the world champion anytime he wants to be.
Now remember, it's Chris Jericho, so it's fine. You can be as hypocritical as you want, Chris.
Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know?
You two are weird.
Go ahead.
So are you. We all are. That's why we're on this
Just
podcast.
lack passion, that's all. And it's just because you're tired.
I don't know. He's always like this.
No, it takes WWE or AEW committing an atrocity to get him fired up. Everything else,
That's fair.
is like, why are you taking it so serious, guys? It's just a play.
It's just a play. A fantastical play.
It's a fantastical play.
It went down last week on Wednesday, about 10, 15 minutes. Chris Jericho made a star out of a jobber. Now, to be fair, he's been a world heavyweight champion in like the GCWs and stuff like that. So the hardcore ICW community knew who this man was. I didn't. I guarantee 75% of that crowd Wednesday night didn't.
You mean like 75% of the Raw crowd that had no clue who the hell?
Bronson Reed was? It was probably 95% that.
That's because Triple H thinks NXT was far more over than it actually was.
But to have
I mean, it was over. It's just he's been gone for.
Well, to be fair, he was never over in NXT to begin with.
He was towards the end.
Anyway, back to Chris Jericho and Action Andretti, because that man's crazy. Had the palm in the back of his...
North American champion, he was over.
Yes, you get a title, so you're automatically over. That's how that works? I don't think that's how that works. Are you sure? There's a lot of flops.
In the same way that you used to have an odd thing for Tony Khan and I have an odd thing for Vince McMahon, you have an odd thing for Triple H.
I had to balance it out. We each have a
But, I mean,
we
in,
each
these,
have a weird
in
person
just
that
the
we
past
idolize.
6 months, I've been able to yell at Tony Khan. You won't yell at Triple H.
I've yelled at
Why?
him some.
Yeah.
I yelled at him.
No.
The Austin Theory thing was absolute garbage, but I still was right. See, now I just sound like him.
Anyway, fantastic work by the Ocho, Chris Jericho.
Will he ever be the Nueve?
Probably not.
You think everyone's in a world title?
Probably not.
I think he should be the no wave.
I don't think it rolls off the tongue as easy as Ocho.
I'm saying
I don't mean
he
gimmick
should be the
wise.
Nueve
Does
so
he-
that he can be the Diaz.
Does he win another world title?
I don't think so.
Good.
They don't. He doesn't need one.
Yeah,
They put the AW title
We heard
on
that
him
before.
because he was a name to kind of get some backing.
And get
Same
people
thing with
talking.
get people talking. Same thing with the Ring of Honor.
I don't know.
Try to get people talking.
Like February and something. Well, that's going to get people talking. Oh. Alrighty. Jeff Jarrett and company attacked the Acclaimed.
What's the difference here? Trying to start a new company and trying to secure a TV deal, but you love the Briscoes too much, so that's probably what got in the way of your TV deal. Multi-million-dollar company that just does whatever the fuck they want.
Well, you still need to get people talking.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying it's not the same. It's totally not the same thing.
I mean, you're in the same business. It's a wrestling business, but some Super Bowl ads work, and sometimes.
I don't know if a Super Bowl ad has worked in like 3 years.
Right, and
Some of them things are bad.
I don't know. Doritos commercials usually work.
They haven't worked since the Time Machine one.
Well, I know it works.
I don't
for
even
him.
remember the time.
I do remember this.
It's classic.
Apparently not. I don't remember.
Jeff Jarrett and company attacked the Acclaimed. Where are we going with Jeff Jarrett? I
To
kinda like
the moon.
Look, I actually like Great Value Ric Flair. I think it's kind of cool. Like am I wrong?
Great.
No. Look, I kind of like it. It's Great Value Ric Flair and the Undertaker meet, and we have this odd Jeff Jarrett gimmick. It's literally, it's like Flair and Taker had sex in a rec room. Because he's got Taker's gear and Flair's strut and hair and
Mannerisms.
you're picturing it.
Yeah. How can you not? Like, what the hell?
I would think
I'm
that
trying not to.
I would think that Flair would be the bottom of the two.
Oh god.
I can't. Everyone speculate. Everyone says that Flair's well hung. We know that.
Jeez.
We speculate that Taker's well hung given his size. We know that Flair is given how many interviews. Missy Hyatt once described it like a baby arm. You watch all those. I watch a lot of old shoot interviews just to with the stories. And no, not those kind of stories. It just happened to come up because anyone.
Sure.
No, but really, anyone, especially Sean Oliver, like if he happened to interview somebody that he knew was around Flair in those times, he always asked some perverted.
Well, of
stuff.
course.
Which why wouldn't you?
You gotta ask the question.
So
Well, the answer
I
is another
like-
story.
Some do, some don't. I like Jeff Jarrett. I like the gimmick overall. I just don't think it has a lot of direction at the moment. Like, he's a natural promo. He's a great heel. We talked, and it's hard to believe that was also this year. We all talked about how we thought he had more gas in the tank after Ric Flair's last match. The build up, and of course
Even just SummerSlam.
Yeah, right. And
SummerSlam, like I know he wasn't wrestling or anything, but he was a big part of that entire thing.
he also was the special guest referee for NWA. Like, he appeared for so many promotions this year. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
He had a busy 2022.
He's the Ryan Fitzpatrick of
Yes.
wrestling promotions this year.
Yeah.
He is,
We love that guy. Yeah.
sure. Do you know who Ryan Fitzpatrick is?
He was
I'm just
only
trying-
a quarterback
he
for
was
the
a-
Miami Dolphins.
he was a-
Jesus
I cou-
Christ.
Well, I don't know why we got to put the savior in this, but I just didn't understand. I wasn't. I'm making sure.
Dolphins.
Have you
Dolphins.
not stared at the table?
I mean, he might just be a Marino mark.
I mean, that's what made me be a Dolphins fan, but I continued to be a Dolphins fan even after Jimmy Johnson forced Dan Marino out of Miami.
Sorry, Regal. I know you don't like the term mark, but Marino mark, good alliteration.
I mean, it's fair.
It's good alliteration.
It does. I like it.
So,
I'm a double M. I'll take it.
Like, I like Jeff Jarrett. I like this gimmick. I think he's very, very good. My only criticism of Jeff Jarrett ever in his career is his top runs were when he booked them. But
He's
that's
probably booking this one.
That's not a top run, though.
yeah. I can live with it.
It's just
So
there.
where are we going with this?
Wherever Jeff wants.
I don't know.
I was hoping
Because, like,
for
I don't...
You know,
I don't see the value in them beating up the Acclaim right now. I can't picture anybody like young on the roster that like beating Jeff Jarrett's gonna put you over. Beating Sting, yeah, like half the roster, if not more. But Jeff Jarrett's just not there now. Is he a good asset? Sure, he knows more about this business than a lot of people probably in that locker room.
but in kayfabe, why would you fear Jeff Jarrett when he lost to Ric Flair this year?
I mean, I wouldn't.
I'd go, come on, Flair beat you with dehydration and a bad heart. You're not that tough.
It's just it's not clicking for me. I don't know where it's because I don't know where because I don't think Jay Lethal does not need Jeff Jarrett.
Hell no.
So right there, what's that doing?
But maybe that's what Jay Lethal's wants that because keep in mind that's his old boss.
No, they're friends. I mean, and that's fine
if
if they're
big real break,
if you're
machismo.
comfortable where you are and this is where you want to be. All right, but I just don't see a value right now if someone pins Jeff Jarrett. There's nothing wrong with him being there. It's fine. He's not. It is what it is. He's teaming with somebody. He's still good at the mic.
Still can work enough.
He can do enough work. I kind of missed his guitar shots. There's something about a Jeff Jarrett guitar shot. No one does it like he does.
It's not quite the same thing as other people.
So I'm not saying he doesn't bring value, but I
he
don't
gets
see
a
the
wind-up.
value. Like if Jungle
Yeah.
Boy, if like
I love it. It's because he gets the wind up. Oh, it's got a distinct pop and everything.
and they take the glue out so it falls to
it's
pieces.
just great.
It's great.
Oh, it's great.
You know,
It's great,
You know,
pal.
I keep waiting on them to put out a Jeff Jarrett AEW T-shirt, and they haven't done it.
They're just waiting until for the
Because he
right
doesn't
time.
wear t-shirts. He wears like
Things,
things.
vests. Is it a vest?
He's wearing that.
They need to invest in it. They just put out Jeff Jarrett.
Invests.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, remember when Dustin Rhodes started playing that Undertaker type character in WCW?
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like those two
Wasn't it
gears.
7?
Yeah, it's like those two gears like morphed in there and.
This is what we have now.
Yeah.
What is it with you and morphing things today?
It's morphin time.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Why?
Because
Everybody loves a good Power Rangers reference.
Cracked on Jason David Frank.
I
I
did.
did not.
Oh, he did. Oh,
He
okay.
did. Didn't
He did.
He did.
You know, I had a very
No, you're just bringing up.
look.
God,
Jason
and
David
now I'm
Frank
sad.
was a hero of mine when I was a child,
I too.
and so was the Red Ranger. You know why? Because in character, the Red Ranger's name was Jason. And in real life, Jason David Frank's real name was Jason. And they were important to me when I was in middle school, so it made sense to me at the time.
What else do you want to touch on? Since you wanted to scream at me for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was scared.
Great time.
How the hell do you think I felt?
You're
screaming
always
at me
scared.
too.
That's true. That's
I was getting a dick sandwich. Because you were both being a couple of Richards.
Couple of Richards.
So you can go suck on a satchel up.
I think we should talk about the Elite and Death Triangle.
Okay. This was their worst match of the series. You could finally tell that this was stale for everybody. Yep. Oh, what was it? Nick? Was it Nick or Matt?
I think it was Nick that did the ankle
The
thing.
bad sell, because they did the ankle thing, and I thought, okay, he's gonna come out and help. I get it. Because at first you kind of wonder, is it real? Is it not? Then when it becomes obvious, it's not. All right, I've seen this done. It's tried and true. It's kind of the missionary position of pro wrestling. Tried and true. Not even a chuckle. Dang. And you grew up on missionary, you old bastard.
That's fair.
So, and I can live with it, but then he sells it on the way down. Okay, he looks like that old Disney Double Team movie. You remember those twins? They played basketball.
Oh, I think I do remember that.
She hurt her ankle because she's playing too much ball. Yeah, that's what he looked like. And so, all right, I can live with it. And then he starts throwing punches and he stops selling. And you're leading with your left.
At least he threw punches. That's something.
Look,
I mean, come on. If you think about it, did you really expect Nick Jackson to throw a punch?
that's fair.
Even with a hurt ankle.
That's fair.
So I agree. He
But
stopped selling. I'm not saying that he didn't. But at least he had the forethought to say, oh, my ankle's hurt. I should probably punch people.
But I watched it live and I was like, I didn't see him hulk up. Where
He didn't.
no shot of adrenaline that come through to.
He's just a sexy Kurt.
I don't think that was it.
Apparently his ankle didn't hurt.
Ha
And then they said, well, you're not selling well enough, so now we're going to hit you with a hammer for some reason.
Maybe
or
it was hammer
another.
time.
And they're all going to try to switch it up to close the series. It's all going to be different. This week's a no DQ. What, the last week's a ladder match, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Escalera de I can't
Press one for English.
something. Yeah, it's a ladder match.
Press one for English.
Escalera de something. I forget the last word.
So yeah, I just thought this was the worst match of the Elite's return thus far because it just felt like it was stale for all of us. Them, crowd, us at home. It just felt like, yep, it felt like familiarity breeds contempt. And I don't mean that, we hate each other. I mean, we did just do this last week and the week before. It's just tough to make those best of sevens work. Hopefully the new stipulations inject some life, like a lethal dose of poison.
I think that
Right.
the last two stipulations should have already been decided upon when it was announced.
Can't do that when we're flying by the seat of her pants.
It's fair, but now we know
Yeah,
it's
big
going
seat.
7. At least if they say, okay, so
Big pants.
the first 4 matches are going to be regular trios matches. And then this match is this match is this match is this. All right, first of all, it eliminates the one thing I hate in pro wrestling the most. After match promos. They're always terrible. You're tired. You're winded. You're trying to think how to get your point across, and you just wrestled for 20 minutes. And
I do
as
that
much
even
as I
just
love,
not
as
even
much
after
as
wrestling.
I
That's
love
up the stairs.
Kenny Omega, he's not the strongest promo. What are you doing? It's not like asking Chris Jericho to cut a post-match promo. He could probably pull it off. But this is Japanese charisma Kenny Omega. I love the guy, but that's the best way I can say it. He's not American high charisma. The Japanese love him because they enjoy that type of charisma that he has, but he can't talk. So you put him in a lose-lose situation. And then you announce this after 3 minutes of an awkward-ass promo that it's going to be no DQ. And then you turn around and announce that it's going to be steel cage and then ladder match if needed. Why didn't you just come out and say that in the first place? Because I don't care who you are. You already knew you were going to 7. I don't think we've ever seen a best of 7 that doesn't go to 7. I mean, sure, in basketball and
if
non-predetermined sports.
If this doesn't go to 7, I'll actually give Tony Khan credit just for doing something completely different. Like whether I
I'd
like
take
it or not,
that.
it's like, all right, I'll give you credit for doing something I've never seen. Any other thoughts before we move on to? I'm gonna just cover running the ropes quickly, and then we're gonna do our awards.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, I agree with you guys. Last week was stale. Hopefully,
Yeah.
this next match really picks it up, which is I was kind of surprised because
overall, I've enjoyed this series.
if there were any 6 guys that wouldn't have a problem, I thought it would be them. But one stale match doesn't ruin the series.
Right.
But at the same time, I didn't expect a stale match from these 6 people.
I think it's fair. Get that running the ropes grab before we move.
Okay. We're back.
And welcome back to the Turnbuckle. We're going to give you our final run of the ropes of the year. I'm going to just cover it quickly, just for the sake of time. Dave Meltzer confirms that Vince McMahon does want to come back and says he certainly will try. From what I gather, Vince has got a grand total of 2 options. He can, 1, find a way to con the board into trying to reinstate him. I doubt that's going to happen. 2, he can blow the whole thing up and try to reinstate his own board, but that would tank the stocks. That would probably get some SEC violations going. I don't know that, but it would certainly be something they look into at the very least.
Probably.
It would at least cause an investigation. Maybe nothing would be found. It would at least cause an investigation. So the question's going to be, anyone that, from what I gather, and again, this is very limited, I'm not a business mind. From what I gather, does Vince have the power to come back? Yes, if he's willing to absolutely hurt the company. If he's willing to do that, then there's not a whole lot that can stop Vince McMahon from being Vince McMahon. Will he hurt the company? I don't know. My heart says no, but also at 77,
Age is a fickle thing.
Yeah, so it's just so that's the best way I can figure it. The only 2 ways I think he comes back in any official capacity are if the board somehow decides that, like, essentially he twisted some arms at the board and got weaseled his way back in, or if he wants to try and nuke this whole thing and get his way back in there, he can do that. Will he? Time will tell. That's going to be a story we keep in mind for 2023. Any comments you guys want to touch on quickly?
I don't see Vince destroying his baby. Even though he's not running it anymore, I don't see that. Even the most egotistical businessman isn't going to destroy their baby, even if someone else took it over, because there's always going to be that nostalgia feeling. I made this. I did this.
Of course, from a caveat standpoint, it may not destroy it long term, but it would have a couple of tough years.
Fair.
I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Like, all kidding aside, people can come back and brands can come back. Mike Tyson is a convicted rapist. No one talks about it anymore, which is really odd. But so for a couple of years, it would because the stocks would certainly tank. SEC investigations would at least happen, if not be found of something. Now, WWE could afford to be in the red a few years. They lost money as recently as 2009. These record profits have kind of spoiled us. So if it's something he wanted to do, but like you, I just wonder, is he crazy enough? Yes, shouldn't have it that way. Is he so bored that he's willing to, at least hurt the company for the next few years, in my view? Could it come back? Absolutely, it could. But you also don't know. So that's the great question. We'll watch that over 2023. Meltzer said, for what it's worth, he certainly will try. What does that mean? No idea.
It could be a simple phone call. Hey, can I come back?
Yeah.
No.
So.
Does anybody want me back?
Yeah. So. Do I care? No.
I think in a I think he should be involved. I think he'd be the best consultant you could find. Because of what we talked about last week. He has that innate rare ability to take a good idea and make it great. You can't put a dollar amount on that.
It's an odd blend for me because, like, there is a portion of me that understands, like, the allegations against him are extremely serious, number one. But number two, there is also the level of, I did build this, so I deserve to still have some hand. It's an odd, you know, he will forever be Walt Disney to WWE, no matter what we find out about him in the years to come, because he did do all these things. Some good, some bad. And so it's going to be interesting. We'll keep our eye on it through 2023. Sasha Banks is done in WWE at least for now. Rumors are she's heading to New Japan. The heavy rumor is she's going to debut at Wrestle Kingdom, do some one-offs there. Reportedly, she's making more money than anybody, though Chris Jericho kind of said your numbers are inaccurate.
I believe him.
Thoughts on Sasha Banks going to New Japan now? But I'll start with you.
I don't think she lasts. If she's going there long term, I don't think it lasts.
I think the rumor is she's popping in for one-off big matches, going to kind of part-time it.
If that's the case, good for her.
That's where I'm at. I mean, good for her. Go somewhere else. Sometimes a new promotion, like we saw with Drew McIntyre, can change everything.
Sure.
So, I mean, good for her to not stop just yet and see what she can do.
Yeah. All right. Triple H reportedly underwhelmed by some of the talents he brought back. Well, I'm not surprised by that if that's true. Number one, Raw has far too much of Johnny Gargano. I'm not knocking Johnny Gargano. It's just been Raw starring Johnny Gargano lately until this week. Hit Row is just atrocious. Please fire them. Karrion Kross is slow burning. Dexter Lumis has been good. Braun has been irrelevant. Bray, we're getting places.
I think Braun has a chance to rebound with the whole Gunther thing. Because it seems like that's the route that they're headed so far with Gunther. Is Braun versus Gunther, which I think could redeem him.
I think Braun's going to get his ass kicked.
By Gunther?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not a... I mean, it depends how the match goes, but, I mean, that's not always a bad thing.
Sure.
But, I mean, I can see Triple H's perspective of being slightly overwhelmed. Some of these things didn't get over as quickly as he had hoped. But, like, some of these guys have been back for 2 months.
Sure.
It's not really enough time for a body of work.
No.
Now, on that same aspect, they never should have brought Hit Row back because they weren't that great to begin with, but at least they had Swerve.
And I thought it fit more of what NXT was going for at the time, and it doesn't fit Raw.
Swerve completed that puzzle. Without him, it's just not working. And it's not like plug and play. Just find some other dude to put in there. No, it worked because of how good Swerve Strickland is.
They're trying to plug in B-Fab to that, and I'm sorry,
good at
she's
it.
not.
I think the only person on the roster, and he's not healthy at the moment, the only person on the roster you can even try, and doesn't mean it work, try, is R-Truth. I think R-Truth could maybe make it work.
What about MVP?
He's already doing a tease.
Just for giggles.
No, I don't.
I don't think he fits.
They're
a little more street. He's more business. They don't fit.
Yeah, because he was he was in prison. He's overcame that. Because that's kind of
that fits.
Because MVP was in prison and he overcame that and boom, and so. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's tough to know. So we'll see how that all works out.
They're not criminals. They're street. There's a difference, you jerk.
He said criminal, or he said jail, and Booker T went to jail, and
Goldberg hasn't signed a new WWE deal. His reps say that he could. His contract expires at the end of the year. If he re-signs a new deal, it's going to be a Legends deal. He'll never wrestle under this WWE again. And personally, because I believe that very strongly, I hope he goes to AEW and has a match or two. I would hate to.
I still take it wrong.
Well, Saudi events keep happening and keeps on going now. Triple H just doesn't like Goldberg's style.
He missed one Saudi event.
I'm telling you, he's about to miss another WrestleMania too.
I mean, I will say that he's probably closer to right because they didn't click when they had that feud either.
Yeah.
So there's already does Triple H look at things differently probably now than he did then? Sure, they all do. Him and Chris Jericho get along, but at the same time.
Yeah, and he said nice things about CM Punk. Kind of.
I just don't see it. Maybe I hope I'm wrong because, if anything, as a Goldberg fan, I would like to know it's Goldberg's last match or have an idea. Not damn, that was kind of random. His last match was Roman at the Elimination Chamber this year in February.
That's so weird.
And we didn't know what his status was, how many matches he had left. Like, there's been conflicting reports. So we'll see what happens. I think if he re-signs a Legends deal, personally, I'd kind of like to see him go to AEW just because of like some new blood and retire in a different way. I don't think he fits in Triple H's WWE. Now, if Vince makes his power play, that might be different.
I would like to see him in a couple of one-offs in AEW.
Yeah.
I think Lance Archer,
Wardlow,
and Brian Cage could all use that I beat Goldberg rub because he's still Goldberg.
He's gonna have one match before he does any of those though. Him and Jade Cargill versus somebody else.
God. The worst match I ever saw. Even I'd hate him. Anything
Wow.
Even
I've done it.
You broke him.
I've finally done it.
You get anything next to Jay Cargill, Roman Reigns, I instantly hate it. Raw is going to be a best of 2022 next week. Not a big fan of that because they're working anyway. Raw is going to be here in Columbus, the Raw roster meeting on the holiday tour, and SmackDown is going to be at MSG. So when people say, well, how dare they give their roster the holiday off, they're working anyway. Don't waste a week of build. All right. Finally, let's give out some awards, some of our best and worst of 2022 before we get out of here.
Wait, what's going on that Monday? Is there a reason why they did it?
I just assume it's because they're being ran by a doofus with a big nose now.
What I said earlier was they pay the wrestlers less for house shows, and they try to make sure they make budget. It was a very last-minute decision.
I'm just going to go with it being ran by a doofus. I hate you, Hunter.
As opposed to the other doofus?
I like that doofus. He's a madman, but I like him. I hate you, Hunter. I hate you. Just want you to know that. I wish you all the health and success in the world. I hope you bring WWE to new heights, but I hate you.
But he hates you. A lot.
I do. But at least I'm fair enough to realize, like, I hope he takes it further than Vince ever did. Because it's good for the business. But I hate that man.
I mean,
He could cure cancer, and I'd say he didn't do it soon enough.
Wow, what a dick.
Stupid bastard. You slept your way to the top, you whore. All right. Anywho, sorry. Sorry about that.
Too.
Oh, did he get the title before he married her?
No.
I tried. I liked the game.
No, Vince slept his way to the bottom. If the bottom is being a billionaire, I guess. But well, he might be a top.
Okay, award show. Yeah.
Award show!
All right, let's talk. I want wrestlers of the year for WWE AEW. Who's your wrestler of the year? You can go for either one, both. I don't care. I'll start with you, Mr. Napper.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. You got an AEW one?
AEW. I gotta go MJF.
Yeah, that's fair. How about you, McCarthy? I see you guys read your rundown pre-show.
I did, actually.
I did, but I just.
I'm going to go, because I printed this out while I was working, because it's my work printer.
Oh, it was printed so nicely.
You know what? Nobody stands out like Cody from that Hell in a Cell. I got to go Cody. Even though he's hurt and he missed a big part of the year, that is quite possibly the biggest moment.
The only reason I didn't give it to him is because he's not been around for like the second half of the year. That's where I was like,
I just can't. There's.
And Sammy had that Mania match. Like, I know people crap on it because it was goofy and horseshit and stuff like that, but that was a big time match at WrestleMania with Jackass.
That's true. That was a good match. If it wasn't for Sammy, that never would have worked.
Yeah, right.
But I just think Cody. It's the lasting impression as far as match wrestlers go on that roster.
Plus, he had
lasting impression of this year is Cody Rhodes wrestling with a torn pectoral in Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I can't not choose that. That's bad. That's more. Because we can give Triple H props for getting put in the walls of Jericho with a torn quad.
Yeah.
Hurt like hell, I bet, but it was like 2 minutes. Cody Rhodes goes out here for half an hour with a torn pectoral muscle.
Psycho.
So I gotta give him WWE's Wrestler of the Year is Cody Rhodes.
AEW.
This was chalk, you guys. Powerhouse Hobbs. from where he was at the beginning of the year to where he is now, I'd give him the rest of the year.
That's a good one. What about you?
WWE, it's tough not to say Roman Reigns given the year he's had, truly. But a couple of one. So I guess Roman Reigns would be my official. But right there, in my view, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has made chicken salad out of a lot of chicken shiitake mushrooms this year.
Sami Zayn did too, man. I mean, there's a long
I
way.
I said Seth Rollins, didn't I?
Yep. Yep.
You meant Sami Zayn.
The least successful member of the show. It's true. That's
Fair.
not wrong.
I mean, they all held gold this year.
Austin Theory's correct. He is. He's right.
He is.
Sorry, Seth, you suck.
Roman's the face of WWE, whether you like it or not. Moxley's kind of the face of AEW. Seth Rollins is just kind of there.
He's just kind of there.
We love Seth Rollins, and we love that he's there, but he's just kind
Still
of.
kind of more over than both of them for a year.
I mean, but that's Seth Rollins.
I mean, you could maybe argue Roman, but
I was going to say, I don't know, you guys, I'm surprised you can talk with, well,
yeah, just keep moving along.
sorry, with the tennis ball you have in your mouth. Anywho, yeah, I'm going to say, like I said, Roman's probably the obvious one, but Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens had, I mean, keep in mind, he got a match on Stone Cold Steve Austin. Recently, reportedly, he wanted to wrestle Shawn Michaels, by the way. Shawn has said no, but he was busy looking at Mandy's OnlyFans, I assume.
It's probably true.
Just a great year he's had. Calling back to the Ezekiel stuff. Of course, now he's done the stuff with Roman. It just doesn't get much better than what Kevin Owens has done this year. Really incredible, especially when you're not given a lot to, like, you're given a little bit to work with, but really he made magic out of a lot of really tough situations. So, I mean, he built that Stone Cold match entirely on his own. Just incredible. All right, AEW wise, it's tough not to go MJF, right? But since you went MJF, it's tough not to go John Moxley. You know, he's been the champion, twice this year? I know under some weird-ass circumstances, but he has been the tried and true pillar of the company in this very uncertain last 6 months or so.
It's weird that he was like the pillar in the two most uncertain times of AEW. He's the pillar during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And when everything went to shit with the EVPs, who do you lean on? John Moxley. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
How about women?
Women, well, you can't say
shit, I
Charlotte
totally
Flair
forgot.
for this year because she hadn't been around. Look, I think you got to go Bianca Belair for the WWE. You know, she in some ways she's broken out more this year than she did even during the Thunderdome era. It felt like she's more natural.
Yeah,
that makes sense. She's kind of grown into
really
that position.
She grew into her own basically.
AEW is a little tougher with women. Part of you wants to say Britt Baker, but in recent months, and I got to give the edge to Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter's broke out and become kind of her own star around someone like Britt Baker, who's one of the most incredible female stars we've seen in the last decade.
And it was very Danielson-esque.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't planning on pushing Jamie Hayter. They were not planning on her being world champion.
The fan base
that
decided,
AEW fan base said, we love Jamie Hayter.
So yeah, that's who I'll get. What about you? Who's your women?
AEW, I'm going to give it to Toni Storm. I think she carried herself very well during that time with that transition with the title. And out of the people that they've brought in this year from like WWE, I think she's kind of flourished the most.
I'd agree with that. She's definitely flourished the most out of all of them.
As far as WWE goes, I think you're right. It's kind of hard not to give it to Belair, but I'll say Liv Morgan. I think she stepped up this year.
Had a good year. How about you?
I'm going to go Rhea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Rhea.
a good one too.
Yeah.
I think she is not only is she in a much stronger position now, she gets to be
Mommy sure is.
who she is. She gets to turn herself up to 11 like she did in NXT, where
Not only that,
Vince was trying weird stuff
She has
with
made an
her.
entire career this year of doing almost absolutely nothing
It's great.
in a match.
It's great.
The first intergender match on WWE television I can remember in a long time.
Long time. And
That goes
then
back to the China days.
Yeah, I saw that she wrestled.
Akira Tozawa.
Cool.
Oh, he's got that dog in him. That was such you should have seen the Street Profits were hyping him up because he didn't want to do the match, obviously. He goes, "You got that dog in you! You got that dog in you!" It was great. Go back and see.
so ridiculous, but
He
it
goes,
was
"Dude,
great.
you got
It
that
was
dog
great.
in you!"
As far as AEW goes, the list is small.
They haven't had a
They
good
haven't
year
done enough.
in terms of the women's division.
Yeah, they just haven't. And whether it's bad booking decisions or the timing just didn't feel right, or Thunder Rosa and all this shit that's happened so far this year in that company. Jamie Hayter.
Yeah,
Because it was so organic. There's no one else to pick. Because even Britt Baker, you can't even, because she just hasn't had the matches she had last year. So you can't give it to her.
Just out of spite.
But you can't give her, because she's not there yet.
No, I know.
You just can't. You can't. You can be here. I'm her fan. I see potential in her.
She's an early candidate for what's going to be 2023. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But, all right, give me your match of the year. It can be both companies, one company. I don't care. I didn't structure this one. When you think match of the year for you guys, what do you think? Who wants to go first?
Oh, no. I'll think of the match I watched before you got here. FTR versus the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships in the dog collar match. It's my match of the year.
I
can't.
I agree with you 100%.
Nothing's above that.
I agree with you 100%. That was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's my match of the year. Anyone that likes this thing we call wrestling, go watch that match.
And I mean, the referee bled, for God's sakes.
And that is why, yes, Tony Khan should do whatever he can to protect the Briscoes.
Yeah.
Because the
And
Briscoes
what I
are
thought
different,
was-
but they're an incredible talent.
What I thought was great about that whole spot, it wasn't contrived or stupid. It was just a little misstep by the referee.
Yep.
And got caught in the face with a chain. It was great. That's what we love about this business, was that.
And it really helped elevate the match in terms of proving the danger of
Mm-hmm.
it, because all it takes is one misstep, and next
boom.
thing you know, you're screwed.
And he cut himself way too deep because Doc Sampson was all over it.
Yeah, you could tell it was like,
What did you do? What's wrong with you? How long has it been since you've done this?
Well, I didn't get to see that match, so I am going to go with a different one.
please do.
And I narrowed it down to 3 before the show started, but I think I got to go Gunther and Sheamus, Clash at the Castle.
All right. Yeah,
Have to.
Fire.
that's fair. Yeah, that's right up there.
All right, give me your tag team of the year. I'll start with you, Mr. Napper. Your tag team of the year.
Got to give it to the Usos.
Do you have one that sticks out in AEW? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, it's hard not to say FTR. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like those are the two.
Yeah.
It's like,
I agree. I think it's the Usos and WWE without a doubt. The New Days continue to have a good year, but not quite the Usos' year.
they're ending on a good note, but
right.
they weren't the focus of the year.
Well, we kind of forget that this is the year that Big E got hurt, and we're still praying and hoping.
All the
for
plans
it.
were for Big E.
That was last year.
No, it was early this year.
That was that was March this year. Yep.
I thought it was like December of last year.
It's been a wild year.
It really
it's been
has.
a wild year.
It's been a lot. Yeah.
All right, got 2 more for you, and then we'll get out of here.
You didn't give his tag teams.
Who's your tag team?
Um,
I mean, AEW and WWE if you feel the need.
Same as yours.
Okay.
The
Oh, that's
Usos and
no
FTR. I mean, who else? As far as WWE goes, who else are you going to pick?
Yeah.
There's only a handful of official tag teams on the roster.
And they hold the belts.
And like AEW is everywhere. There's too many tag teams in AEW because you got your trios teams, you got your regular teams, you got your sometimes teams, you got your friends over here playing in the rain. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something, but it's too much for me to go, oh yeah, that one really stood out other than FTR.
Tiddlywinks.
Yeah. But in the same WWE, no one stands out but the Usos
Yep.
because they're not doing it right. You're just throwing people together. It's crazy. At least when the Acclaim got thrown together, he had a plan. Now what's he doing?
I actually am surprised we didn't say the Acclaimed.
It's weird. They really cooled off once they won the belts.
They did. Well, the classic harm to every face. The chase to the title is more entertaining than keeping.
I don't think that's the case here. I think it's a lack of. They have an indirection sense.
That's true too.
I
think he's right.
I think Max Caster can make anything work,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's got John Cena type charisma.
Yeah.
But we've seen no plan as far as a real feud since. Like, yeah, we're working on this Jarrett thing. We'll see where that goes. But hopefully the Acclaimed this week get Jarrett back. And why should I care? Give me a genuine feud since the tag titles, and they haven't done that so far. Hopefully that changes this week. All right, I got 2 more for you, and then we'll get the hell out of here. I want your Booker of the Year. I want your Booker of the Year. Really, there's about, I mean, if you want to get technical, there's more than this. But there's 4 or 5 people in contention, quote unquote. But again, if you want to get technical and go with other promotions, there's far more than that. But 3, 4, 5, we kind of know who we're talking about here. Give me your Booker of the Year. McCarthy, I'll start with you.
With all the rigmarole in WWE and the ups and downs of AEW, I had to really look at this differently when I made the decision. So I had to base it solely on pay-per-view, premium live event, body of work. And when you look at that, I think Tony Khan had more great pay-per-view cards than Vince or Triple H. Sure. Especially when it comes to Ring of Honor. Because once he bought that, whether it was a good idea or not, that's not the conversation we're having. Those pay-per-views with virtually no build were amazing. So I got to give it to him on the simple fact. I think on Ring of Honor alone.
Tony Khan. So who's your Booker of the Year, Mr. Napper?
I think we're going to go pretty much chalk with it. I'm going to give it to Triple H. I think because of kind of the same thing. Like, I know that they've had successful pay-per-views with Ring of Honor and, you know, All Out that was very successful, but I think Triple H has done the same thing almost neck and neck with them in short and less amount of time to have the ability to do it, like the experience to do it. I think overall he's done as good of a job as Tony Khan, and that's why I give it to him, because he's not been in control that long and is still doing fairly good comparatively to Tony Khan, who's been at this for a couple of years now.
Well, I mean, but I'm not poo-pooing. Sure. Like, that's totally fine. I mean, Triple H does have experience. He booked NXT.
Yeah, but you're right.
That's all. Everything else is fair. But he does have booking experience.
That's fair.
My Booker of the Year?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Told you it was going to go chalk.
That was just the greatest 6 months, and I hate the guy that took over. My God, he has no creativity. He has the biggest nose. Hate that guy. All right, and I want some. And before we go, I want some bold predictions.
I thought we were doing surprises.
Yeah, what about the biggest surprise of
It's on the rundown.
Oh Christ, who cares about that? All right.
All right. I mean, I can.
Wow.
It's fine. I mean, it's your rundown.
It's our rundown. This is not a me show.
Okay. You wrote the rundown. I'm trying to be respectful for the time that you put into the rundown, sir. See, we do like each other.
Maybe you are the better producer because I never was that respectful.
Because you're a dick.
That's fair.
You actually have every right to stomp all over whatever I do because you put more time into all this than everybody lately. Anywho, do you want to go biggest surprise of the year?
Sure, I don't care.
All right. So your biggest surprise of the year in WWE, you can do in my view, do 2 ways. In WWE, outside of the ring, it's got to be Vince retiring. Who the hell saw that ever, right? We all thought he would die in the chair, and hopefully he still will. So that's...
He might die in a chair.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the one in Stanford. That's my hope.
I mean,
a chair's a chair.
Could be the chair at the front desk.
That's that. But anywho,
That's only if he's hitting on the receptionist.
Yeah, chair. No, it's in the waiting room.
He's hitting on the receptionist.
see, this is why, as wrong as it is, I almost hope he tanks his own company just so I can say, ha!
I just said he was going to hit on the receptionist.
No, you guys have given me such shit in the last 6 months, and you damn well know it. And I've ate a lot of crow. So every now and again.
If you befriend a crow, it brings you shiny things.
Oh yay! In WWE, it's really hard to say. It's been such a wild year. Probably in the ring, Stone Cold wrestling again is up there. Yeah. Vince wrestling again is up there because that happened. Like Vince versus Pat McAfee was a card.
Forgot that happened.
Like I mean, Braves was a big deal, but we figured he was coming back at some point. We never thought we'd see Stone Cold again wrestle.
Logan Paul having a decent match in Saudi.
Outside of WWE, frankly, like I said, it's AEW, the Brawl Out stuff comes to mind. In the ring, I think it was that at Sutton, John Moxley, CM Punk swap, where CM Punk had the injury to his foot. That was a stunner in terms of the booking. And then
Bully Ray coming back to Impact.
and working with and another thing I was going to say, the biggest shock of the year might be outside of all that. Again, I think Vince trumps everything, but Ric Flair had a wrestling match this year. That's a big
and Ricky Steamboat.
Ricky Steamboat just did a few months ago as well, right around Thanksgiving. So that's
and
nuts.
Jeff Jarrett.
It's been a fucking futz year, man.
Oh God, that's making a comeback.
Fucking futz, I love it.
What? Give me some of your shocks, and then we'll go.
I mean, my first one's going to be last Wednesday. No one in their right mind thought Action Andretti was going to beat Chris Jericho. We're trained to not, and I haven't had a genuine surprise reaction sitting in my chair like that for a long time. So it was nice to be like surprised and thrown off and like, what, really? No fucking way that just happened. Vince, obviously. Stone Cold coming back. I think one of the biggest ones was Cody. By far. On both ends of the spectrum. Because when the year started, no one ever thought Cody would leave.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he ain't happy. All right. And of course, or he wanted out so he could go to whatever it was. And of course, the writing was on the wall that he was going to WWE. But until you see him in wrestling, you just don't know. So I think on both ends of the spectrum for both companies, it was Cody.
That's such a, like I said, it's so weird. This went, in WWE, it's the year Vince retired, but it could have been, because remember this happened this year too, Stephanie took that sudden leave of absence. And there was going to be so much more of that story that was going to trickle out. And then it got completely, she came back obviously when Vince got in shit. And, I mean, because we were going to find out a lot there, I think.
We were.
Because Stephanie, for some reason, and we still don't know why,
Clue.
it took a leave of absence for about a grand total of what ended up being 10
I
days.
thought Hunter explained why she took a leave of absence.
Hunter's lying his ass off. I sorry, if you're a McMahon, I just don't believe you.
He's not a
But
McMahon.
He's not.
He's a Levesque.
He's by marriage.
He's not a McMahon.
He's not part of the bloodline, man.
It's like SpongeBob and Patrick. They get the ugly on each other.
They just have bad breath.
The
It's
green
fine.
goop that Gary ate?
No, they had bad breath.
The ugly.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the ugly. They
No,
had bad breath.
yeah, I know what he says. Do you buy his I just needed a break?
I don't remember. I don't know.
He said
I
this
mean,
he
who
took
doesn't need a break?
Because they had gone through a lot because of his health scare.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe
Came back
that.
to work.
It's fine. Sure.
And nearly died.
That's true. I think she knew some shit about Vince, and she figured it out, or it came out to her, and it was like, well, I need to go away from you for a while. That's why.
Really, they all figured out something
Yeah.
because what's his name nearly traded stocks, and now they're still. Are they still investigating?
No.
I don't
Wasn't it
think
done?
so.
The investigations as far as the stock exchange goes, they're all done. And the
I'm not talking about from the
Yeah.
WWE though.
No, he never got criminally charged for it. No, he never.
Yeah, he
got-
didn't do like
Yeah.
insider trading or technically break any laws. He just spent company money. That's
Who?
what Vince.
No, I'm talking
No,
about
I'm
Kevin
talking
Dunn.
Oh,
Kevin, that was under investigation.
I forgot about that.
Another.
It's kind of easy to do that.
It's been a wild year.
Damn.
No, it was. They even implemented a rule where you just can't do it from now on. It's another one of those. It's Kevin Dunn. He saved the company tapes in the '80s, so screw it.
Wild.
So yeah, what a year. What about you? Obviously, Vince is a huge shock, but other ones.
MJF actually sticking around. I thought that was going to be a lot worse than it actually was. Because especially with all the reports, it seemed like those two were never going to reconcile, and he seemed very like, yeah, was he going to show back up on TV? Probably, but like for
them to go a complete 180, I was convinced that was going to blow up way worse than it actually did.
I think their blow up happened last year, and it's been planned this whole year.
Maybe.
It was very early in the year that MJF started bitching about money.
That's true.
I'll give maybe still pissed off, but once Cody left, if Tony
I was
Khan,
going to say, that promo just screams that he was still a little bit ticked off.
you'd have to be dumb not to give MJF what he asked for when Cody Rhodes walks out the door.
Especially with that promo he gave.
Yeah. All right. Last one. We got to wrap it up. I don't want to see your ass again for a month. Well, depends on if we're doing
Unless
that show.
something happens.
Yeah, unless something happens, or if we're doing that show on the 14th.
Oh yeah, you should reach out to him again.
I'm gonna wait till after the holiday out of kind of respect, but
That's fair.
It's in my.
Right.
I haven't forgotten.
I'm cool with that.
So I want some. It's been the wildest year I can ever remember as far as everything goes in professional wrestling. Give me some bold predictions for 2023. This could be in the ring. This could be out of the ring. This could be behind the scenes or whatever have you. Who wants to go first with some bold predictions? Could be one, could be two. If you got a few, toss them at me. 2023.
Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes will have the feud of the year for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. Anything else?
Let's see. Jungle Boy's the one to dethrone MJF.
Okay. And that happens in 2023 in your opinion? Okay.
WWE, I'm going to go Randy Orton wrestles again.
Hope so.
Let's hope so. Even if it's a one-off and it's the last
right.
one.
Has a match in 2023.
Okay.
AEW, Darby Allin wins a world title. Doesn't have to have a big feud.
He's so far away. He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be, but he is. And hopefully, but that's why it's a bold prediction.
It's a bold prediction.
Fingers crossed your bold prediction comes through, because that would be
It was
great.
either that or I was going to say, in this one, I really hope happens, Lance Archer wins a world title.
God,
Here's a bold prediction. Lance Archer is on TV more than 2 times every 3 months.
I don't know. That's pretty bold.
That's bold.
I know.
That's, but hey, fortune favors the bold. All right, WWE, it's not bold to say that Roman's going to lose the titles because it feels like he's going to finally lose them next year. I think for AEW, I think Goldberg debuts in AEW. I just don't see him in this version of WWE for anything more than a Legends deal. Now, if he's content to retire, that's a little different. All right, I'll make that mailbox money, pop in here for a few extra episodes. WWE-wise, I think Vince comes back in some form. Might be as simple as a Legends deal, maybe pops in at Raw 30. I think Vince is going to be around some way or another because he's got too much power to not just screw with things. I don't know when that'll be. I think it'd be on the more back half of the year. I don't think it'll be at Raw 30.
That would be a total as the world turns thing, because now he would be talent and Triple H would be the booker. It'd be a whole 360 thing.
Can you imagine that?
Wild.
I don't know if it's going to be this year, but my honest prediction is
Would Triple H get to book that, you think?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
He's the booker. Why not?
But I think
it would be one of those things where the talent goes, no.
As the year
He goes, no.
He'll put in his contract, I want full creative control.
If Vince's health holds out, and I don't know how to be in 2023, I think he'll be back in some form in 2023, but as Vince's health holds out, the older he gets, the crazier he's going to get, right?
Normally, that's how it works.
That's where I think it's possible he does the power play. Because the older he gets, the more bored he gets. He might go, I don't give a damn about hurting the company fully. He might be crazy enough to go, I can bring it back. And he might be able to, but I'm saying his thought process might be, it'll blow over, I'll survive. Because that's what he always did before this. So I do think at some point he makes the power pool. I just don't know if it's in 2023.
Ooh, I got one more. One more. Disney does what they always do. They buy WWE. They buy everybody else.
Will that be because Vince was told no?
Just because they can.
So
Just because you think Disney can't buy it?
not if Vince doesn't green light it.
Well, no, I mean money
So
wise.
does he give up the idea of coming back?
Because
Yeah.
he's
That's
got
what it
to.
would
in
take.
order
Yeah,
for
I
that
think
to
if he,
happen.
I think if
Draft
he tries to
itself.
come back and he fails, okay, hey,
Yep.
Mrs. Disney, because I don't know. No, wait, Bob something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget what they.
The CEO of Disney.
Iger or something like that.
Yeah, because he came back. It is Bob Iger.
Yep.
So-
Yeah,
So
I think
you think Vince does try to make a power play, gets rejected, and says, "Then I'll sell the whole damn thing."
I'm selling it. Disney wants it. It can have it.
That's such a.
If that's the case, I got one more.
Go ahead.
Mickey Mouse will have a match at a pay-per-view in 2023.
That's got to be 2024.
Oh, he'll be on
It's gotta be-
WrestleMania
it's gotta be-
2024.
Main event of
It's gonna be a
WrestleMania.
while.
It can be Sami Zayn in costume.
I think-
That way we get a good match out of the deal.
I think it's. I do. I think at some point Vince makes a power play, and I think if he decides that it cannot be done, then he'll go, "Then I'll sell the damn thing,"
Who's gonna play Goofy?
because he's such a narcissistic individual.
R-Truth.
Oh, absolutely.
He would nail that character, bro.
No, it's gotta be somebody that's tall. He's not that tall.
He's tall enough.
For a Goofy costume?
Dude,
But
all he's
It'll be
got to
Braun-
do...
You know damn well it'll be Braun Strowman.
No, man, you got it. You give it to R-Truth because he's naturally funny. And what you do is you get him wrestling boots with
funny.
with 8-inch insoles. So that's another little wrestling hidden secret. Get bigger insoles so you look taller.
Last question.
Oh god.
This is not on the rundown.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Since you're getting a month off, right? Are you taking a break from wrestling? Are you?
Well, I
are you
mean,
gonna
I'll
tune
watch...
out ahead?
Define
watch-
break. Define break.
Will you miss some weeks? Are you going to take 2 or 3 weeks off TV? And just kind of keep up with the results.
And not watch any wrestling at all?
Yeah, just kind of watch what you think you need to see. You know what I mean? Not sit down and watch 3 hours of Raw over the next few weeks.
Then yes, probably.
Okay,
I mean, I'll definitely watch AEW.
right. All right.
Maybe some SmackDown.
That was
Watch more than I do because of my work schedule? Probably not.
Okay,
I'd say Dynamite and SmackDown are the
but
only ones
Yeah,
I'm going to
because
watch.
like usually I'm off on Friday nights so I can
but
catch
but,
SmackDown.
but Raw's, you're cutting that out of your diet for now.
I mean, it's almost cut out now. So I have to go to bed. Like, I go upstairs about 9:30. Is it on in the background? Yeah, but now I'm not paying
He's
attention. I'm
89,
trying to
so-
trying to get up, and I got a lot of things to do. I got to make Jason's lunch. I got to get him off to school. I got to get to work.
All right.
I'm not as young as I used to be.
Well, with that, he's going to get even older over the next month. Again, we will be back January 24th is the plan. Now, if some catastrophic breaking news happens, we will probably get together and discuss it in some form or another. That would obviously require probably a tragic turn of events, to be quite frank. It would take a big-time death, because even if Vince does make this said power play, it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
I'm saying, forget about predictions of if. If that does happen, it's going to take a little time, I mean, more on the back end of 2023, in my view. Those are about the only 2 circumstances, a major death or Vince McMahon related, oh my God, he's coming back to power, that I could see us go, all right, let's end the break early. So January 24th, don't move a move. We'll keep you updated if the date changes. For now, I wish everybody a wonderful holiday season, no matter what you celebrate, whether it be Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and of course, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll miss both of you dearly, but I won't miss getting uncomfortable in this chair. I'll see you January 24th. We'll be on the road again already to WrestleMania. We'll see you next year. Be safe. Ding, ding.